M60s.
50 cals.
Truck cars. Do you like guns? Do you like trucks? Do you like trucks with guns?
All right, hold on. We haven't even started yet.
He's just got to keep going through his.
All right, here we go.
Yep.
3, 2, 1. Welcome back to Bad Movies Rule, the worst movie podcast ever recorded. What are you doing? We made you! We made you! What is happening to this thing? It will not stay.
It just doesn't want to stay.
It's taking over.
It's going to be the long. The
We made
machines
it.
are revolting.
We made it.
Wow.
I'm trying to balance my phone and it turned into the longest intro in BMR history.
Let's make it longer. Do you want to watch vehicles drive in circles for 2 hours? We're not talking NASCAR. We're talking maximum overdrive.
Yeah. Hold on. Time out. I figured out what it was. My headphones were inside the phone cord.
So you were
Okay.
yanking the
I was
phone.
yanking it.
All right,
All
so
right.
it wasn't some nebulous comet causing it to do that.
It wasn't. What's up, guys? Welcome in today. We've got Mel Vandy in the house. Double 2 episodes in a row, brother.
Yeah, and I'm kind of thinking about my life choices.
Did you almost pull a Clint Bush on this one? I don't know if you guys know Clint. Well, you probably know. He bailed out of the last one.
On the last one, yeah.
He just was like, I'm out.
I'm out.
So now forever, that's Clint Bushing an episode.
Bushing it.
Pushing it.
Someone else got to sit in the Clint Bush memorial seat there.
That's right. That's right. That's right. And we also have Mr. Ryan Mueller in the house today. Ryan, how are you doing, bud?
Doing well, doing well.
It's America's birthday coming up
It
here.
is coming up.
I love it, man. And here you got some meat smoking currently.
Brisket. We got pulled pork in the
Nice.
smoker as we speak.
Oh, wow.
Fantastic.
Yeah, that's a good weekend.
It is a good weekend.
Mm-hmm. And yet again, we have 2, but never 3 Ryans in the house. Ryan Farrell.
Another missed opportunity.
One day we will convene the tribunal. We'll get Ryan Madela in here. And then we just have to pick the right Ryan-themed movie.
We will, and we'll have to do it like Survivor style too, right? I mean, the tribunal has spoken.
Yeah.
You're out.
Exactly.
Perfect.
I don't think the listeners can handle it.
3 Ryans? Well, that's what I
3
said
Ryans
last
is-
time. The Earth might spin off its axis if we
Even
allow that
2.
to happen.
Yeah.
We might
a lot.
might get a random 50 cal in here to start shooting
We
points
could.
up, but
We could. Well, hey guys, I appreciate that you're here. You know, for those of you who are new to the show, what we generally do is we go through the vitals, give you the particulars, all the nuts and bolts of the movie, who directed it, who starred in it, what the ratings are. And then we just walk through the plot of the movie. And then at the end, we do what we can for these bad movies as far as giving it some flowers and awards, because most of these were never given any when they came out. And then we ultimately, at the end, make the determination, is this really actually a bad movie, or is it good, or is it just a bad movie that's enjoyable? So stick with us, and that's what we're going to do for the next however long it's going to take us to get there.
Yes.
Let's jump straight into the vitals, guys. And the first thing that has to be said about Maximum Overdrive is who it was written and directed by. I mean, that's kind of the whole story of the movie.
Right.
that is
Right. It's a big thing.
That's where you have to start.
Yeah, so this is a Stephen King movie, but not just a Stephen King movie. It's a Stephen King movie.
It's a film by Stephen King.
Right.
Written
Of
by,
a Stephen King movie.
directed by.
Yes.
Yes.
Small part played by Steve.
Right.
Maybe more so than any other author,
Yeah.
Stephen King's movies or books have been made into movies.
Ruined by.
And many would say ruined by the movies that
Well,
they're made.
that's interesting.
Some. Okay. In this case,
I guess it's like you either get some of the greatest films of all time or just
Yep.
some of the worst.
yes. And in this case, Stephen King said, you know what? If you can't do it, you do it. If somebody else can't do it right, I'll do it myself.
Right. Yeah. He really took the reins and went for it.
And as I was just talking to Bevan downstairs, he says, you know, I'm an electrician, and so I'm adjacent to a lot of industries, and I know how nails and boards work, but don't hire me to do your carpentry.
Right.
And I think this is what happened here with Stephen King.
Yeah.
I wonder how many people he actually like proposed this to and said, "Hey, I want you to direct this." And eventually, the 500 people that turned him down,
he finally goes, well, I guess I'll do it myself.
I don't know, but Dino De Laurentiis gave him the $9 million he needed to make it.
I thought it was 15.
Well, 9 is what Google told me when I looked today.
Oh,
9 was the soundtrack.
right.
Well, it might have been
That was the
9,
other
but
6.
8 of it went to AC/DC. So
And that's
Yeah.
another thing you put on paper when you just look at the vitals and say, it's a film written by Stephen King, directed by Stephen King, with a soundtrack by AC/DC, starring Emilio Estevez.
You're like, how can this be bad?
How could this be bad?
Well, they worked very hard, and they made it happen.
they worked real hard.
You know, if somebody doesn't believe in you, you just got to work hard. and say,
exactly.
I can do it.
And this is the one he wanted. Stephen King wanted this one.
That's right.
Yeah.
The other ones, whatever.
Sure.
This
His
was a-
Maximum Overdrive. This
Yeah.
is the one I want him.
This was adapted from a short story in his Night Shift book called Trucks.
Right.
And
Which there's a movie, Trucks.
is there?
Yes, somebody else made this, and I guess made it good or better.
Really?
Well, look at that.
Really?
Coming up soon on BMR, Trucks.
Trucks. Yeah. He always had such apt titles for his films.
I know,
and
it's really
stories,
great too, right?
You know?
The movie, as you said, starred Emilio Estevez and Pat Hingle a few years before he'd be Commissioner Gordon in Batman, Laura Harrington, and Yeardley Smith, among some others that we will discuss. But this movie came out in 1986. So it was pre-Lisa Simpson for Yeardley Smith.
Pre a lot of things for her.
Yeah, sure.
Yep.
And the budget, as we said, was $9 million. And the box office was $7.4 million. Wah, wah, that's not going to get it done.
You know, with that budget, there's no way this movie could be made today.
With $9 million?
$9 million. No, absolutely not.
So
even,
what did they-
even as bad as it was.
What did they buy with that? I mean, they built that gas station,
gas station. Yep.
Yeah.
A couple
Dixie
trucks.
Boy.
Explosions.
some explosions, and they blew up some semis and a bulldozer.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, at the time, I mean, you're talking about 1986. I guess they didn't have to pay a lot of people. I mean, maybe was Estevez commanding a huge salary in
I
1986?
don't know that.
No,
he was at his
Estevez wasn't even
peak
that
yet.
known at the time.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, did you know that Stephen King wanted Bruce Springsteen to play Estevez's character?
That would have been so much more expensive.
Yes. It was
Why AC/DC and Bruce Springsteen in the
Right,
same movie?
right.
Come on, you're talking 18 million. at
Well,
that
they
point.
probably would have let Bruce do the soundtrack if he had been on, right? They would have been escaping to the trucks on Glory Days.
Right.
That's
Well, Bruce actually had it in his contract. He could only do it if it was in New Jersey. So because it was North Carolina, I mean, it violates
no.
the Bruce clause.
Springsteen clause.
Bubba just doesn't have the same ringing as it
No.
New Jersey as it does North Carolina.
Yeah.
So assuming that it was some wood and nails and paint and some trucks, right? Which is not to minimize. It was a lot of trucks. And they probably didn't have to pay the actors a ton. A good chunk of that probably went to AC/DC.
I'm sure.
I don't know.
I don't
Stephen
know.
King and AC/DC were allegedly friends.
Oh, okay. You think they did it for nothing?
I mean, I don't think they did it for nothing.
AC/DC's
But-
at their
but I'll
height of
tell
their
you.
power as
Yeah,
a
they-
band
yeah,
at that point. They're
exactly.
not- yeah.
No, for sure.
How much do you think, though, to retrofit all those semis to be remote controlled, though?
Well, they weren't always remote controlled because there was more than a few times I could clearly see a person. behind the wheel.
but in some of the,
Yeah,
you know,
for some
there
of the
had to-
shots.
Exactly.
It was all midgets.
It was all Tommy knockers.
All right. Well, the movie is currently nice reference.
Thank
a 5.4.
Oh, someone got it.
Another alien centered book by Stephen King.
Yeah.
A 5.4 on IMDb currently, so it's a little worse than Air America.
That's the
That's the
threshold.
bar. Yeah, Air America's
It's the 5.8. It's the line of
that's the
demarcation. That's where it's currently at. It's sitting at a 15% on Rotten Tomatoes. And this next thing made me want to punch my computer screen. 50% audience score. Half of the audience likes Maximum Overdrive.
Well, what's not to like?
I'm about to spend 90 minutes explaining it to you.
outside the soundtrack. I don't know.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to This Movie Sucks.
Well, how is this the same rating as the Roller Boys? I thought
Yeah.
the Roller Boys was horrible.
Yeah.
I said that should have been below Iron Eagle.
Yeah.
This one, we'll see. I guess
What was Iron Eagle? Was that a 5.4
that's a
also?
5.4. I
Also.
think.
All right,
is
so if
that
you have
possible?
these two movies, one of them should not be rated above the other, in my opinion.
Go back and watch them and get on IMDb.
Yeah,
and re-rate,
determine.
please.
We need to get some people out there, please. We need to make some adjustments to IMDb. Get out and vote, please.
You
Thank
need
you.
to start review bomb or vote bombing.
I don't want to vote bomb,
Yeah,
but you know what to do.
you know what to do. Look,
We'll mail ballots to your house if you want.
give it a solid 5. And then
Well, bro, let's pull it down just a little. Just a little. Just do it for Iron Eagle. Do it for Chappie. For Chappie.
If we can get Lou Gossett over to your house and slap a jukebox, we'll go ahead, vote. We'll get Lou Gossett. We're
All right, I'm curious to find out everybody's history with the movie. So, has anyone? Was this the first time you had seen it for anybody? Everyone had seen this before.
I had not.
You had not, so it was the first time.
First time I saw it, yeah.
I saw it once and didn't remember it, but I remembered little parts from it.
I remember catching this late nights a few times, and so I remembered like flashes of it. Like I remember the Green Goblin truck, and I remember some of the scenes, but it had been probably 20, 30 years since I'd actually seen the movie.
same,
what about you?
Yeah, same. I remember seeing this. My cousin and I used to watch movies on TNT when we had sleepovers, and I remember that this was something that we had watched at some point, but never really watched it in its full glory until this week.
Ted Turner had that on heavy rotation.
Back in the day, this is a TNT movie all the way.
Yep.
They had about 5 or 6 movies on heavy rotation, and Ted Turner
did.
was like, "What time is it? Let Maximum Overdrive run."
Somehow I missed that one on that rotation.
It's 11 p.m. Time for maximum.
Time for Maximum Overdrive. Let it roll 3 times in a row, back to back. Get us to 5 a.m.
They totally
did.
did.
Get us to 5 a.m. That's all they're trying
11
to
to 5, yep.
You could start a movie half hour in and then still catch the beginning after the movie was over.
Yeah,
They did
It
that
was
for the
great.
time zones, actually.
Did they?
Really?
Yes, because the people that way out west in like
Sure.
Funnyland,
Funland.
Yes.
they they're a couple hours behind us and all.
Okay. Interesting.
yeah.
Well, look, I know some of you that are listening are a couple hours behind us. I'm finding out we've got listeners all across the country and even in some cases outside of the country. So thanks to our
That's exciting.
international listeners and the people that are tuned in right now. We appreciate the fact that you're here. Thanks for listening to Bad Movies Rule. Whatever podcast app you happen to be listening to us on, whether it's Spotify or Apple Podcasts or even a different one like Stitcher or iHeartRadio, some of them allow for ratings. And so if you could drop us a 5-star rating, it helps us with the algorithm with these apps, pushing us out to more people, and it'd be a big help to the podcast. So if you could do that, if you haven't done it already, that would be fantastic. There's a couple of ways to communicate with the show. The 2 best ways is either via our email address, which is thisshowIstrash@gmail.com. We constantly say we're the worst movie podcast ever. We're constantly screwing up, and we're trying to live up to that. And so that's where you can reach us. ThisshowIstrash@gmail.com. Send us some suggestions. Ask us whatever questions are on your mind, and we'll maybe feature it in a mailbag episode. The other way is on our Facebook page, which we're very active on. So it's facebook.com/badmoviesrule. Hop on there, drop some comments and some likes, and we'll interact with you on there as well. And lastly, if you're a diehard, if you're a mega fan of the show, for just $3 a month, you can join our Patreon. That's patreon.com/badmoviesrule, and you have access to bonus episodes, polls to vote on upcoming episodes, behind-the-scenes content, and you can even participate at a certain level with the awards and be part of the show itself. So all kinds of ways to find us and interact with us, and we just, again, appreciate that you're here listening. You guys ready to dive into this movie?
Let's do it.
Awesome. So you had mentioned before a comet, and that's, anytime a movie starts and they're like, text blurb, it's like, okay.
Yeah, and I was like, I thought this was Stephen King, not George Lucas directing this, because it was...
It's like, we want to give you this big information dump. We don't want to have to do any of it in the film. So,
Well,
here's what you need to know.
to be fair, it was like 4 sentences.
To be
Yeah.
fair,
It's not, but it's something that's fallen out of style. They don't do it anymore.
I'll tell you this. It's
Yeah.
something that I enjoy personally.
Do you like it?
I do.
Okay. You like to read a prologue before you start a movie?
One like this where it basically just establishes that this is a really dumb premise.
They could have just had some dude go, look, there's a comet. It's been there for 5 days.
Yeah, but-
Yeah.
boom, there you go.
Yeah, but that would have been worse.
Would it?
It would have been.
Would
yeah.
it really?
Not to me. But
Yeah.
but basically what it is some rogue comet, I don't remember what it was called, some stupid scientific looking name.
Rhea M.
Rhea M, thank you, has flown past the Earth, and we are now in its tail,
Yes.
and that's going to last for roughly 8 days and so many hours.
Yeah.
And so many minutes.
8 days,
I think
32
they had it right down to a second.
minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as soon as we end up in the tail of this comet, basically strange things starts happening and all the machines are becoming sentient and they're wanting to kill everybody. That's
Stranger things.
that's
Stranger
the-
things start happening.
yeah, stranger things started happening.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And,
even the manual ones.
That's the premise. What? You mean it's not a consistent premise throughout the entire movie?
Yeah.
But not the manual ones later.
No.
No.
Yep.
No.
Yep.
Well, what we'll find out, and I'm sure we'll talk a lot about this, is the machines that come alive and kill you are only the ones that the movie wants to happen because they need to for the plot.
Yes. Yes.
Plot butter.
As a very historic, what is it? We see this a lot in our bad movies.
We do.
That the things that are the bad people or the bad things are only as bad as the movie needs them to be.
Exactly. We're learning as now we're on number 63, I think.
Right. Right.
There's definitely some common threads we're starting to see
Yep.
between all of these films.
Yep.
For sure.
No follow through considerations of anything.
No.
Yeah.
And I like that they start off kind of the machines just start off kind of passive aggressive. And the first thing that happens is a machine just calls somebody an a-hole.
Yeah. That was Stephen King.
Calls Stephen King. An
Later, I was like, they
a-hole.
should have had that at the end. A-hole for making this pile of garbage.
Yeah.
But
Well, the first thing that happens is that the machines, use the banks to tell someone to F off.
That's right. No, they do.
yeah, right in the ticker above the bank.
The ticker says F you.
F off. Although the past couple days, I wasn't sure if that was actually from the movie or if that was just, actual banks.
Yeah, well, it could be.
Basically.
That's why no one was phased. Like, everyone's walking up. They're like, whatever. No one
Yeah.
even notices.
Right.
They're like, oh, maybe we should switch banks. I'm tired of this bank telling me F you.
That's funny.
The other big set piece before we really meet any of the main characters is this opening bridge,
Yes.
right? I don't know what those are called. The
Drawbridge?
Oh, yeah, drawbridge,
Is it the
yeah.
drawbridge? Okay. Where there's cars parked across it, and all of a sudden, you see the controls in the tower start to turn on their own, and the bridge starts to open up, and cars begin to slide
Yes.
and kill and crush people.
Yes, the manual buttons moving themselves.
And it,
Yep.
it looked like a Gallagher show with all the watermelons, or whatever else.
It did.
See, the thing about that got me.
Yeah.
How is this guy on the motorcycle? They show him going off the bridge into the river or whatever.
Yes.
Yep.
But how is he sliding off the bridge if it opens this way and you've got?
Thank you.
It goes in like this.
Well, I know that, but it didn't
But
show.
he slid through the top.
He slid through,
through
the
the
top.
bottom.
He slid through the top.
Through the top.
If you go back and watch.
They
Yeah.
showed it because as he went like this, it
Yeah.
slid between him and the
Yep,
roadway.
because they took
Yeah.
it. They took and did the
Yeah.
wide
Right.
pan shot of it. But when they showed it up on him, he slid through the crack.
He's falling through the
where it
middle.
opens
Yeah.
and
Yes.
falls through the middle. Because
This is the first.
if he falls through there, he's going to hit that concrete structure first before he bounces in the
Right.
water.
Well, this is the first moment when I was like, okay, clearly this is a book author that's never directed a movie. This was the first thing that it's also the first thing they show, and I'm like,
right.
he doesn't know how to shoot anything. I mean, it was all shot in a confusing way where you can't tell who's where they are in relation to each other.
Turns the camera
Turns the camera, so they're sliding different. It's
left
very
and right in frame. Yep.
disorienting.
Yeah.
And he never just backs out a little bit to be able to really show you what's happening. And so that's how we end up with things like motorcycles sliding and then falling through the top of the
All right, for this shot, you're just going to jump through the open part of the drawbridge here.
Right.
And
Yes. That's basically like we're just going to do a close up. The stunt man goes through the top just to,
Right.
get him into the water somehow.
Right.
But then cut back to him actually falling to the side of the river where, in theory, he would have fallen.
Right.
But yeah, this is the first of many of those gimmicks that just go very wrong.
Oh, for sure.
In
This is the
the
first
style
one
of
that
filming.
happens in the movie.
So, should we just jump on a little trivia for that?
Yeah, sure.
The cinematographer for the movie doesn't speak English.
Oh, no?
No, Armando Nanuzzi.
See this? This is my surprise face.
So, yeah,
I want you to shoot this.
this is
Oui, oui. Yagshamash.
Yep. Literally.
He just knows how to say, okay, thumbs up.
Did you get it?
And Armando Nanuzzi, who spoke Italian,
Sorry.
Stephen King would issue direction, and apparently, according to one of the gaffers, Armando would just kind of nod his head and go, "Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
I love that.
And just did what he wanted.
yeah." Who knows?
Did you get it?
But there's a reason Steven didn't realize what was happening.
Oh,
because he's coked out of his mind.
Right.
He's got to.
By his own admission.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
He's now said after the fact
Yeah.
that he was, at the time of the movie, he had no idea what was happening or what anything was doing because he was, quote, coked out of his mind.
None
Yes.
of us did.
And they captured that in glorious film.
Yep. This is what happens when an out of control, egotistical creator
Yes.
is completely under the influence 24/7.
Yeah.
This is what we get.
And now we have like TikTok.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
So we can see many under the influence creators.
That's right.
Exactly.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, one of the
goodness.
gaffers for the film also said that he would crack a beer at their roll call meetings.
Okay.
So Stephen King would basically start drinking at 6:30 in the morning, and then also use cocaine throughout the day, and then finish drinking at about 8 p.m.
Which
So
I'm in a way, I'm like, I shouldn't be laughing at it, but at the same time, because he's okay now.
yeah,
And we ended up with this horrible movie.
Yeah.
It's all just very funny to me.
it does. And I love how they just did. Most people involved, admit that it's garbage.
Well, no, he called it, quote, a movie for morons.
Yeah,
Is what Stephen King called
himself
And
called it.
here
a
we
movie for
are,
morons. And here's the
Four of us watching it.
Four morons around a table.
yeah,
That was almost the name of this podcast before I changed it
four
to
morons in a table.
Four morons and a table.
We almost called our production company that. Yeah, we almost called it Four Assholes and a Camera.
Oh, nice. All right.
Yeah.
Well, we finally, after this, get to the Dixie Boy truck stop. This is where at least Steven knew enough about writing to go, we got to do the thing where we introduce the people.
Yeah.
And so they go around and everybody gets their little moment.
yeah.
I'm
who's
a
who.
felon, and I work with felons.
That's right.
Yep.
So we meet our main character, who's Emilio Estevez. His name is Bill. And Bill just wants to fry eggs and be left alone.
Yep.
Right?
The worst first line of Pat Hingle's like, "Hey, Bill." He's like, "I got eggs on."
I got eggs on.
Okay. I actually
Bobo?
I had to pause the movie and be like,
He tried. You can tell Emilio Estevez in the first 5 minutes of the movie was trying to do a North Carolina accent, and then he just stopped.
yes, I know. Yeah.
He bailed on it.
Totally bailed on it. Yep.
But so we see him, and we see that Pat Hingle, who plays Bubba, the truck stop owner, is using felons as labor and kind of bilking them for some time, making them work longer than they're clocked in for, and all that
Yeah.
because he's got them by the shoestrings, so to speak.
Exactly.
Right.
Like he says, you want me to work for 9 hours but only get paid for 8?
Yep.
And Pat Hingle says, well, do you want to belong to me or the state of North Carolina? Or
Yeah.
something
He's
like
not
that.
even a good bad guy. I mean,
Yeah.
most Americans work for 9 and get paid for 8 anyway.
I was just going to say that.
I mean,
It
that's,
seems-
that's like, just
Yeah.
status quo.
Oh, I mean, clock out
Right.
for lunch. I think that's how it works, right?
Yeah, pretty much. It's
Yeah.
like, so he's salaried. All right.
yeah.
Moving on.
On
Right.
top of the frozen time you spend in transit.
Oh, ooh.
Yeah.
So the other people that are there, so let's see, there's Wanda June, who's the single waitress that works there.
The worst waitress ever.
Yeah.
Worse, she can't fry eggs, that's for sure.
Well, and she can't get around in the kitchen without diving on a
On an electric knife.
carver.
On an electric carver operated by a battery.
So the first few things that start to happen around the truck stop, because as we know, the machines are starting to revolt at this point. We saw what happened with the bridge.
Yeah.
And so there's the first thing that happens is this guy that works there gets diesel, black diesel in his face,
Yeah,
Oh,
you get
yeah.
Sprayed with diesel.
Yeah.
which
And
didn't look anything like
No,
diesel.
it just looked like mud. Muddy water.
Muddy
I was
water.
just- yeah, it looks like muddy water because it's not even close to the color of diesel.
Right. And he screams and they haul him inside. And then the next thing that happens, you said, is this electric knife.
Well, we get our first obnoxious music cue.
Oh, can we talk about that?
Yeah.
What was that his attempt
that-
at like the Jason thing or the Michael Myers thing?
It was,
was
it was AC/DC's attempt at it. So,
You know what I'm talking about, Ryan?
Yeah.
Cha 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 cha
Yeah.
cha cha.
Well, and then
cha.
I noticed too, it was like the same bass line throughout the whole movie
Yeah.
too. That would
yeah.
Yes.
kind of preclude something
Right.
coming up.
Right.
So.
Right.
But Jason has the right
Sure. For the
for the
preamble of
preamble of
something
something happening.
Yeah.
But Stephen King's it was just cha 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 cha.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I mean, when you got
Dude.
AC/DC, you use AC/DC.
It was terrible.
Yeah, it was. I mean, AC/DC doing a score also. I mean,
Right.
you know, and there's no saying that maybe AC/DC wasn't a little coked up at the time
No,
Right?
No, not
A
AC.
rock band at the height of their power.
In the 80s?
too. A rock band at the height of their power in the 80s.
Where's Bob when we...
Come on.
This was Bob's movie. He always talks about guys being on coke and pre-workout, and this
Right.
literally was like a bunch of guys
This is
on
like
coke.
the,
Right.
like a movie made by a guy that was
Yeah.
coked out the entire time he's shooting.
Yep.
And Bob's not here.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, so the other thing that happens is this electric knife comes to life, and it seemingly saws halfway into her wrist.
I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's like cut her, like her hand should have just been dangling there the way that thing was.
Right, it was in there. It was Wanda
Yeah.
June. Wanda June was
Yeah.
getting cut up, and then it lands on the floor, and then it attacks her foot,
Yep. Yep.
right, and
But then her
saws into her
foot's
shoe.
fine. Yeah, like
Yep.
her foot's fine.
Well, not only is her foot fine, she's fine for
Right.
the rest of the movie.
Yeah, she's really not bleeding that much.
No, wait.
She's got more blood on her hand that's actually coming out of the wound.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. And
And-
Emilio Estevez grabs a 16-ounce hammer, but he needs 2 hands.
Wow. He's a little guy, man.
I thought that was, as he's approaching it, he like grabs this little tiny 16-ounce framing hammer like it's a sledge. And then I'm like, dude, just come on.
Just hit it,
You're
man.
supposed to be a felon and all that stuff. Like, come on.
Yeah.
You don't know how to use a hammer?
But he was a soft felon.
And so
Sure.
the other thing that happens around there is there's this dude hanging out in the arcade inside
Yeah.
the truck. Not just any dude.
Oh my gosh, this was such a privilege.
I was shocked to see it was him.
He was shocked too.
But Juan Carlo Esposito.
Juan Carlo Esposito, Mr. Gus Fring from Breaking Bad.
Yeah,
and
the-
Stan Edgar from The Boys.
Moff Gideon from Mandalorian.
Moff Gideon, yep.
He's like made a career of bad guys that seem much less dangerous than they actually are.
Yeah.
Of the tactile,
Yeah.
silent, subtle bad guys.
Right. But here he is years before he would carve out that niche for himself,
Yep.
playing some screw up, like collecting like the
cigarette machine,
just
and
starts spitting out cigarettes.
Money spitting out all over. He's
I just
like,
love
oh,
it. It was
yeah.
the best. I see that, this dude's like collecting the change machine, spitting everywhere. The cigarettes are going. He's like, oh, and he's like grabbing like a kid on Christmas, just filling his pockets with change
Yes.
and cigarettes.
Show me,
And
like
then he
his-
stopped, and I was like, what? It's Juan Carlo Esposito?
Yeah, I mean,
Ah.
and then there's like this imagery coming out of one of the arcade machines, like all this like kind of psychedelic imagery.
Yeah, yeah.
And so he has to walk over to it, and he doesn't man the controls or anything. He literally just puts his hand on it,
Yeah, yeah.
and it shocks him to death.
Yep.
And I was concerned. Now he got better throughout the movie, but this had me concerned because Emilio Estevez is the first one through the arcade door.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh no, he's doing the Michael Dudikoff thing because he actually walks in there. Here's a dude that's just electrocuted and he's still sparking on the ground and just walks in like
Yeah.
totally no sells
Yeah.
it. No facial expression. I'm like, oh, is this what we're at now? He
Bubba,
gets
we got another one.
a little better. But they're just like, oh wow, this guy just got electrocuted to death in here.
Another part of the movie that as we go along, no one has any. Oh, there's a dead guy.
Nobody does.
Oh, there's another dead guy. Yep. And Pat Hingle just like, well, let's just put him in the basement.
He's dripping all over
He's
the place.
dripping all over.
Get him
Let's
out.
just put,
Bubba, get him in the basement. He's
Bubba,
dripping all over the place.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, and so but those are the main people at the truck stop essentially. Bubba and a bunch of trucker guys who we don't ever really find out until later who they are. Emilio Estevez and Wanda June, and then we cut now to this little league field
Yep.
where a little league team is just one, and so the coach does what I mean. You've done little league stuff before. What do you do after you get a win? Ice cream, pizza, sodas.
You make fun of the other team.
Okay. He's like, soda's on me. And he walks over to this vending machine.
Soda was on him, all right.
Yeah. Yeah.
This was one of the funniest kills,
It was though.
which is sad because he's like taking out kids. Okay.
Right.
But he puts a quarter in the machine and this thing just fires a pop can right into his nuts.
Like a Randy Johnson fastball
Yep.
right to the junk.
which brings him to his knees as expected. And the next one hits him directly in the face.
No, the
I think
second
he hit
one's
him in chest.
Oh, chest. That's right,
Yep.
chest.
Nuts, chest, face.
And then the kids start to scatter.
Yeah.
And this pop machine is able to pick off
Oh, it's
at different degrees, left to right.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
And that's you'd think it would only be able to shoot straight ahead.
Oh, yeah.
shoot. No.
You mean the machine that drops the pop into the dispenser?
Has the mechanism to
Right.
fire out
Yeah,
cans.
fire it
Yeah,
out.
it has
Yes.
it has a total targeting system that kid over there,
Exactly.
kid at 12 o'clock.
Dropping freaking soda cans like artillery shells.
It was crazy. And then it cuts to the coach who's on the ground, and he's got a soda can shaped wound.
He's got like the end of the soda
Yep.
can, the ring right in his nuggets. Just
The funniest thing about this to me was also, did you see the parallelism between that and then what happens to Daniel Stern in Home Alone 2 with the staple gun?
Oh, no. What's that? What do you mean?
In Home Alone 2, when he gets the staple gun at the front door,
Yeah,
you
and he's
remember when he
firing
pulls
it- yeah.
You remember he pulls the doorknob off?
Right.
The staple gun shoots him in the nuts.
Right.
Shoots him in the chest and then shoots him in the face.
That's true.
It's like the same, like drop, boom on the floor.
Are you saying that they ripped off, that Chris Columbus ripped
I'm saying
off?
Chris Columbus probably saw Maximum Overdrive
Look at that.
and then was
There
like,
you go.
the
hey.
thievery.
well, you have
Yeah.
to. I mean,
The thievery. So no one will ever think we stole from this piece of garbage.
Yeah, right.
who's seen this to know?
But nope, then there's me. It's like, wait a minute.
Great.
That's
The
a-
4 of us are now targeted.
We can't cut away from the vending machine killing kids without a random steamroller coming through and running
Oh, yeah.
one of
Oh,
them
my
that
over.
thing just came out of nowhere.
What a
just like-
horrible thing.
That was terrible.
You know, it didn't make the grape squishing sound though.
No, well, so apparently they had rigged up a whole thing like
Yeah.
for this blood to
A whole blood
was
bag.
supposed to leave a
Yep.
trail behind it, but instead it exploded and it looked like the kid's head exploded, and Stephen King was thrilled with it,
Yeah.
but they made him take it out.
As
They
a,
thought-
as a coked out drunk who just filmed a scene of a 12-year-old getting
12
steamrolled.
and he was like, yes,
Yes. And the studio's like, no, man, that's no.
Not
They
cool,
shot
Steven.
that
Not
one.
cool.
Not
They must
cool.
have shot that one later in the day when all inhibitions were gone.
That's
He's like,
exactly
"Yeah,
what
that's-
happened.
Yep.
All right, so there's two other outsiders that they show us before we get back to the truck stop. And so the other one is Curtis and Connie.
Curtis
Let's
and
talk
Connie.
about Curtis and Connie for a minute.
Just married.
That's right.
Just
Just
married.
married. Curtis and Connie.
I tell you what,
Just-
that Malibu they had
Yeah.
sure did some tricks because we had a Malibu growing up.
Yeah.
Wasn't near powerful enough to do what that Malibu did. Not by a long shot.
They stop for gas, right? And so let me just talk about Yeardley Smith because I'm a fan of Lisa Simpson. Okay. We all love Lisa Simpson.
Yeah. Yeah.
She did a few other things, but that's mainly what she's known for.
Right.
I wanted to reach through the screen and put tape over her mouth.
Right.
Yeah.
She was so obnoxious. From the
She
time
would
she
not
screamed,
shut up.
she screams when she sees the guy laying there at the gas station.
Yeah.
Like blood curdling scream. And then I don't know, I lost count of how many times she yelled, Curtis! Through the entire movie.
Yep.
She was
Yep.
awful. And apparently she's very embarrassed by this movie. And I'm like, yeah, I wonder why.
Yeah. She's also someone who hates this film. So many people that worked on this hate it. It's just great.
Well, Curtis and Connie are this little couple. And anyway, this truck backs up and tries to kill them while they're getting gas. And Curtis narrowly avoids getting run over.
Right. As he stumbles across a dead body with also no reaction.
With the only one that reacts is Connie. She shrieks.
Sure.
Is he dead? Is he dead?
Yeah, but even then, it wasn't even panicked. It was just
No, he's napping. He's just taking
that's
a nap.
where it would have been, because later in the movie they got into maybe doing some one-liners. Perfect. They didn't carry that all the way through because that would have been perfect. Hey, you see him moving? Hey, is he welcoming us? Coming to fill our tank? Yeah, of course he's dead.
right. I like how he's dead and he's still just trying. He like shutters on the door, like, oh, well, he's dead. I just try to go in his gas
Anybody
station.
in
Dead
here?
guy.
Somebody
Hey,
saw
turn the
it?
pumps on and he gas.
Right.
I didn't even catch that.
He kind of came across as a tool.
Who, Curtis?
Yes.
Yeah, well, the two of them are not likable characters.
Right.
Really?
You like
didn't
Curtis?
I like Kurt.
Curtis was a wet noodle.
He comes through later on.
Oh my gosh!
Everybody,
All right, we'll talk
everybody
about that.
changes though. And
Yeah.
There's no. All right. Well, we'll see. But the other one that we see is this girl named Brett.
Sure.
Okay? and this Bible salesman
named Camp Loman.
Now, Camp Loman has been on this podcast before. Not on the podcast, but we've discussed him before. He was one of the villains in The Last Dragon.
Oh, really? Okay. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he was the talent agent that went crazy.
Yeah. Well, so has Brett.
Brett was in Buckaroo Banzai.
Yeah,
I thought you meant also in Last Dragon.
Oh, no. Laura Harrington was also in Buckaroo Banzai.
Yeah, so they've both been on the chopping block before. But they're driving down the street, and Stephen King, and here's the thing I'll say about this, because I don't like to get into politics on the show. But I've read in my, when I was younger, I read, not so much as an adult, but I read a lot of Stephen King. And if you know Stephen King, he doesn't make his political affiliations hidden or his feelings about the church and Christianity. And so the fact that he made the biggest a-hole in the movie, a Bible salesman, was of no shock to me at all.
No.
Just the biggest dirtbag in the movie.
Right.
Yeah. Well, and then there's also the blatant, when the case of the case that says the Holy Bible on it gets just completely run over by one of the semis.
Right. And they made sure that shot was dead center.
That's what I mean. That was
they did that one early in the morning before the Coke and beer right now.
That's right.
I was going to say that was probably the most deliberate shot of the entire movie.
That's what I'm saying. Make sure they get him running over the Bible.
Make sure they get it. Make sure it says Holy Bible in big sparkling letters.
That's right.
Hurry up before I start seeing double.
That's right. But they're driving down. So the Bible salesman has picked up this hitchhiker who is Brett, and he's just literally grabbing the inside of her thigh and just being a creeper.
Yep.
And she basically forces him, because she's listening to the radio and they're starting to hear that the machines are revolting, and forces him to pull into this truck stop at threat of violence. And they do. So that's how they end. And eventually all these outsiders that we kind of cut away to all become part of the main group at the Dixie Boy truck stop.
The Dixie Boy truck stop.
And they're starting to figure out at the Dixie Boy at this point that the trucks are doing things that they shouldn't be doing, right? And so at one point, Emilio Estevez goes out to look inside the cabin of the Green Goblin truck, which we'll probably talk
We'll
about.
just call him Green Goblin. Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, Green Goblin. That's what I thought when I saw it.
Yeah. So there's this one truck that's at the Dixie Boy that a guy stopped at the beginning of the movie to gas up, and it's a toy truck. It's like for a toy company, but the front of it, the grill of the semi is this giant Green Goblin head from like Spider-Man. It's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And so
Green Goblin from the MCU.
Yeah. And so he's basically the de facto leader of the trucks that are around.
Right.
At least that's the way it's presented. I don't know if there's a leadership hierarchy in reality, but that's kind of the main antagonist of the movie is this truck. And so at one point, Emilio Estevez is like, goes out and goes into the cabin. Is that what you'd call it? Of a semi?
Cab.
Well, so right when the Bible salesman and Brett pull in, and they're having that little tiff in the parking lot,
right?
And that's when the Green Goblin first
fires up
activates and
tries to run them over, but just drives in a straight line,
right? Just drives in a straight line and crashes, and then they're all like, "Oh, well,
that's weird."
Yeah, and then
thought I'd
the driver
put the safety brake on.
And the driver, he holds up the keys. He's like, "Well, he must have been what he said, like King Hotwire," because then he like shakes.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
And this is also the first time where I was like, shame on Stephen King.
Yeah.
Because
First time.
it's the first time in this capacity. Hold on. In this capacity, the rest of the stuff is all filmmaking stuff. But from a writing standpoint, at the very least, he should be good at writing. And he is a good writer.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. But like, this has to be the cringiest relationship in any of the movies we've ever talked about between Brett and Bill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the way that it's set up is so hacky and ham-fisted, and it's literally like they've never met each other. She walks up to him after he gets out of the cab of that truck, and she goes, "You're cute."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like this is how they're establishing.
Look.
Drifter girl shows up at truck stop. Like,
You work at a truck stop, want to bang?
That's
exactly
not
it.
far away from what it actually was.
It literally is.
Yeah.
Look, Brett serves literally no purpose in the film other than to stroke Emilio Estevez's ego and have sex with him.
Yes.
Yep.
That's
it's
it.
The entire purpose. Her character accomplishes nothing else. Nothing.
Ego stroking the male protagonist and sexual coital.
So she walks out there like a Westworld robot to fulfill her objective. You are cute. Okay.
Yep.
And that's literally how it starts.
So Dino De Laurentiis may have also played a role in that.
A legendary director. Or no, producer.
Yes. The guy who allegedly invented the role of executive producer.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So Dino, because, she first shows up in jeans.
Right.
And then there's that weird scene that makes no sense of her just changing into
Yeah,
that
we're about
skirt.
to get to that. Yeah.
Yeah. That was actually because Dino De Laurentiis said she needed to be wearing something more revealing.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
I thought, so I was going to make a joke about that. Like, hold on, I need to change into something because this is what I'm going to be in the rest of the movie. And
Right.
It's kind of look nice, but he literally did that.
Yeah. Just completely, I'm
I
wearing.
smell him on me.
This smells like
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Old Spice, not in like 1980s Old Spice, not like the Old Spice they got now.
Yeah.
All right, so the last outsider we see is this kid, Deke, who is clearly the final survivor from the Little League team.
He is.
And it's this hilarious scene of him driving through the neighborhood on his Huffy,
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
right? And he's looking left to right, and there's a guy with a chainsaw through his neck, and here's a lady dead in her bushes, and here's this
Someone
girl hanging out a window.
with a cord
And
wrapped
all the
around her neck.
sprinklers, and all the sprinklers go off
are going
in
off.
unison.
Yeah.
And as he's seeing dead body after dead body, what kind of reaction did Deke have?
Deke's like it was a normal day. It's just like, I'm out riding my bike and
Yeah.
He's like, oh, look at that.
Wow.
chainsaw,
Yeah.
cord wrapped around.
Yeah.
Oh, just
mean-
no selling.
No.
No. Not from anybody. Once again, not from anybody.
Not from anyone.
No.
Yeah.
And
All
then you
this
also see this like
death.
police car in a dog's mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone explained. I want to know the
That's
backstory of
what
that one.
Yeah, I'm like, did
How did
this
that
little
happen?
remote control car just like shoot up and pop this dog in the mouth? I mean, did it explode in his mouth? What's going on?
It doesn't make any sense.
I thought the same thing watching that scene.
And here's the other thing from a consistency standpoint, because you talked about manual things before, is that some of these things shouldn't be able to kill you or come alive or do anything.
Manual valves.
Right.
Right.
Like, how is a cord on a hair dryer going to get around your neck?
Well,
The hair dryer can't move,
No.
Right.
even if something was in control of its mechanics.
They didn't have nothing's Wi-Fi connected in 1986. I mean,
there's over 1,300 deaths in 1986 from cords around the neck with hair dryers.
Okay.
So it was a common thing.
But by idiots who did it to themselves,
Well,
not because the hair dryers came alive
you can't prove
and choked them. Here's the other thing.
That's an interesting statistic.
He rides his. I don't think that's actually true. I think he just
Why would it
pulled
be
that out. So, you think he just knows the statistics of hair dryer deaths in 1986?
Hey, Mel Vandy.
King of useless knowledge.
I love how you. Your reputation went so far in front of you that he just assumed that was dead on balls accurate.
Who says it's not?
I'm just saying.
Now I want to look.
Just saying. Well, statistically in 1986, there were
Yeah.
over 1,300 hairdryer strangulation deaths. Sounds good to me.
I doubt it.
Look it up.
All right. So, yeah, people at home, please tell us what it actually is.
Yeah.
The other thing that made me laugh, so the kid pulls up on his bike and there's this lawnmower just covered in blood.
Oh.
yeah.
And I'm like, who's getting killed by a lawnmower?
And
I'll take on 3 lawnmowers right now and win.
I'm just saying. Yeah.
What are they going to do? Run my toes over? How am I
Right.
getting killed by a lawnmower?
It basically chops you at your Achilles tendon. Then you
How? It'd have to
fall.
get up and fall over.
No,
and then I'd
no.
have to
It does
trip
the
into
three
it.
thing. It the handle right to the nuts,
Yeah.
right to the
there you go.
chest.
It
gets
comes
you down,
back. Yep.
comes back,
Gets you
runs you
down.
over.
Gets you down, and then once you're laying on the ground,
Because
helpless.
especially when that is the fastest
Yeah.
push mower I ever have seen in my life.
Yeah.
Right. It's how is it moving the wheels? Is there a transmission and a
Not on that one. That was just a standard push mower.
I don't think
Right.
they had those in the 80s.
The self-propelled.
Self-propelled push mowers.
Oh boy. And this is the first of on-set casualties.
Oh, is there?
Oh yeah, there were people that sacrificed life and limb for this film.
People died making this movie?
So no one died making this movie, but there were
Accidents.
Armando Nunez, our
Okay.
cinematographer from Italy.
Did he pick up the lawnmower
The
while
guy
it was
just
running?
says, "Okay, USA."
So the lawnmower scene was supposed to, as it transpires,
Yes.
there were blades on the bottom of the lawnmower. And Armando told Stephen King through translator or whatever, well, we don't need the blades because they're not visible in the shot. And Stephen King said, no, we need them for authenticity. So the lawnmower runs over some wood and subsequently shot these wood splinters all over the crew, one of which hit Armando Nunez directly in his right eye. He was airlifted to a hospital where he then lost his eye.
The Italian cinematographer lost an eyeball shooting a truck movie for Stephen King.
Yes.
Don't you think it's a little insensitive to call him Italian?
Oh. Where's the button for that one?
I'm so glad you did that in the middle of my joke, too. Oh, thanks. Joke killing.
I want to know where you were going.
Joke Hitler over here. Whoa. Let me stop you in the middle of this joke to talk about Italians. All right, where were we? I forgot. Oh, this lawnmower. So I can't believe that guy lost an eye.
Yeah, it was his focus pulling eye, too.
Oh, my gosh.
So he actually sued Stephen King for $18 million.
Did he win?
It was settled out of court.
For $17.5 million, probably.
He
Didn't see that one coming.
No, he didn't. He didn't. All right, so we're back at the truck stop, and the sleazeball Bible salesman is selling Bibles literally to these two people in a booth in the restaurant.
Yeah.
Okay, in the diner.
Yeah.
And he's being, and again, Stephen King is showing him be all nice and, oh, this is a great thing, the Bible. And then as soon as one of the trucks outside starts to wreck the Bible salesman's car, he starts cursing like a sailor.
Yep.
New car.
Yep.
And again, saying that this guy only cares about money and his beautiful new car and all of this stuff. And so he runs outside, being a total tool bag, screaming at these semis about his car. Like, what are you going to do? I'm going to come out here. I'm going to yell at some semi trucks.
Right.
And they're going to be like, oh, sorry, man. We'll fix it.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think he's on board with that they're alive yet. So he just thinks of because it was that Zeke's garbage truck.
Right.
Yeah.
And Emilio Estevez's job in this movie, because he does it 17 times, is to grab other people who are about to get run over and try to pull them out of the way or throw them out of the way.
With no motion on
With
his
no
face.
emotion on his face. But in this case, Bible salesman says, no, they see the semis coming.
Right.
Because again, how's a semi going to sneak up on anybody?
Well, it does later on.
Okay. Which is ridiculous. They hear, like you said earlier, they hear the things.
Yeah.
They hear it start up.
That
These stealth
Big ol'
semis.
Cummins turbo diesel firing up, both stacks smoking.
Yep.
He's not paying attention until Emilio grabs him. Then he sees it, shoves Emilio Estevez out of the way. Stop trying to save me. I'm going to run in a straight line directly away from the direction that the truck is going.
Yeah.
Right.
Backing up too.
Backing
It
up.
wasn't even,
No, it was the clown face on the back of the trailer.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he ends up getting smacked by the back of the trailer and flying out of his shoes and into this ditch.
Yep. Through the fence.
Through the fence.
Into the
Thank you.
ditch.
Into
Yeah,
the
yeah.
ditch. And out of his shoes.
Yeah. This is the next portion of really terrible camera setups of it's like, oh, we're going to zoom in on him running to there. And then
Yep.
like, oh, here comes the semi. But let's just do a zoom on the back of the semi to create this illusion that there's this closing gap of something. And then all of a sudden he's just falling through the fence.
No.
It was terrible.
It was really bad.
Awful. Awfully edited.
I was just
Awfully shot.
impressed that they could back the trailer straight.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
impressive. Whoever his truck guy was,
I mean, that truck guy was spot on.
he was
Yeah.
probably
I've-
Polish
you know
and
what,
didn't
I
speak
bet
English
I've-
either.
Yeah.
You get good truck guys. So I've seen these truck drivers make turns that you wouldn't think they'd be able to make backing up into docks.
That's
and stuff.
amazing.
So
Yeah,
they're pretty
yeah.
good.
So after the Bible salesman dies, this is where we get that stupid scene of Brett changing her clothes, right? She's like, that guy was touching me all over, and I don't, you know,
dead.
He smells like
Now
death.
he's dead and his
Right.
smell
I
is on me.
don't want him to smell like him.
Yeah.
And Emilio Estevez is like, okay. Like he's like laughing. It's the only time he shows emotion so far
Right.
in the whole
Right,
movie.
right.
And he's like, okay. I'm going to watch.
Yeah. Right.
Then we'll bang.
Down where there's a dead body.
Right at this point, the trucks start to circle the Dixie Boy. Like, time to circle the wagons, trucks.
Yep.
What are they? I was like, what is this? What do they do? This is like,
It's like when sharks circle their prey.
Oh, is that what it is?
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought they were just trying to keep them from leaving. Like,
Yeah,
this is what they're doing.
So were the trucks
Had to
hungry?
been.
I mean,
they must have been.
they
I don't know.
were.
They were thirsty.
They were thirsty because they do ask for demands later on.
And so the trucks are circling Dixie Boy. Now we cut back to Lisa Simpson and Curtis, and they are now being chased by this other truck on the highway.
Yep.
They're driving down this empty highway. They see all these other trucks going the other direction. Like, oh, that's
Where do you
weird.
think they're going?
Right.
Oh, Charlotte. Oh.
And then a truck sneaks up on a truck sneaks up on them, and they almost get nailed out of nowhere. And they have this chase. Curtis is the worst driver I've ever seen.
Yeah.
At one point, he's just got the thing floored, and the semi is coming up next to him. Look out, it's gonna bump us.
Yep.
And Curtis just waits to take it, like from the semi.
Yeah.
All he had to do was get out of the passing lane.
That's what I'm saying.
Man, and he's like looking over the back of his shoulder like it's still behind them when it's already like clearly gotten up on their side.
Like not even in the blind spot. It's just like right there.
Yeah.
And at one point, he's driving, he goes, hold on, like he's going to pull off some crazy thing, and it cuts to the white shot, and he just changes lanes.
Okay. Signal on and
But it disorients the semi enough. Or it's not a semi, it's a dump truck or something,
Whatever
right?
it is.
Yeah.
But whatever it
Yeah.
is, apparently it blows up when you drive it on grass.
It disorients it enough.
that's the other thing. I was like,
Yeah.
I think I actually wrote that down here. Let me see.
It drives over the grassy knoll and explodes.
What'd you write down?
I wrote something down about how that truck just all of a sudden just didn't touch anything.
No, it just pulled
went
off.
off the side.
Yeah.
Just got it to swerve off the highway, hit this brown grass, and all of a sudden explodes.
Kagoosh. Dynamite grass.
I mean, this is pre-Mythbusters era. Because, admittedly, Mythbusters destroyed a lot of cinema.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's napalm grass. That's what it is.
That's it.
Well, I mean, did Bubba lay a minefield out there?
Well, he might have.
Might have.
I mean, he had
Look,
it.
He had
had 'em.
armament.
Because
had
we're about to find out in a few minutes here that he's got this huge arsenal in the basement of this truck stop.
That wasn't very huge.
Well, huger than you think a guy in a truck stop would have in his basement.
I don't know.
How many truck stop guys' basements have you been in?
Just Bubba's.
Yeah, just Bubba's.
No. It's just, I've seen bigger.
Curtis and Connie get to the truck stop, and now they see the circle. They've escaped from the truck that can't drive on grass.
Yeah.
And now they see the truck circling
Yeah.
the Dixie Boy.
Conveniently with a gap.
And he goes, "You see that gap?
Yeah.
I'm gonna drive through the gap, and we're gonna get in there.
Yeah.
Be with all those people that we somehow know are all in there.
There's people
Because
in
we
there.
need gas.
Yes.
Yes.
Right. They needed gas,
gas.
way prior to this, but yet somehow they still made it to the Dixie
They
Boy.
somehow made it there with a car that
They
gets
did.
12 miles to the gallon.
Right?
He's like, all right, here comes the gap, and he times it terribly
Yeah.
because the gap is like I can see that it's practically gone by the time he's about to get there.
Right.
And it flips the car
and he ends up flipping
end
it.
over end.
Yes,
Yep.
isn't that what happens?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You hit a
Yeah.
car
Must be.
in the rear quarter panel with a
Right.
semi, and it flips it end over end.
Flips end over end.
Yeah. Yeah.
Doesn't spin it out at all. Nope. Just,
No, just
end over.
flop over.
Hey, once again, 80s cinema.
Yep.
Even 90s.
They've got to cut Lisa Simpson out of her seatbelt to get her out.
Yep.
But they're all trying to run back now. Emilio Estevez and some other doofus
Here's your second Emilio running moment.
is trying to run out there to help them, and so they cut Lisa Simpson out. And now the four of them have got to make it back, but there's a semi. You guys, how could we have expected this? A semi is now chasing them back towards
Yeah.
it, but Bubba has a rocket launcher.
Of course. Why wouldn't you have a law?
Look, I was just going to say, he has a light anti-tank weapon.
Yes.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. You say he doesn't have a big arsenal, but he's got anti-tank weaponry in his
Yeah.
basement.
Yeah.
And a bunch of extra shots, too.
Yes.
Those aren't reloadable.
Right. That was the best thing when he's using this law and he's just reloading this law. And I'm just like, those are like single fire.
Those are single
only.
shot.
They're literally manufactured to be like you carry them,
right.
you open them, and
Fire it.
And
That's
then
it.
ditch it.
And that's it.
And he's literally got a rocket laying on the ground that he picks up afterwards. He's like, here's my extra
But,
rocket.
there's one dude, Joe,
Joe,
the
Joe.
other guy, his
Good old
left hand
Joe.
man,
Yeah.
is just standing there like feeding him
Feeding
these
him rockets.
Like, yeah.
And what's funny is you never see the rocket. You see them duck, and then the truck explodes.
Yeah.
But no rocket ever traverses the ground between
Yeah.
rocket and truck.
Well, and he had a bunch more, and they stopped.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you took out four of the or
So-
two.
so
Sorry,
they could've-
two of the six
Two
trucks.
Right.
Yeah. They could have
Take out
taken
the
care
other
of this
four.
whole problem with these trucks.
Yeah, like how many?
Oh, man.
How many
So-
rockets you got in there, Bubba?
Right.
Should we just keep firing? Or?
Don't worry about that, Bubba.
Let's go inside.
Hey, how many times can you reload that unreloadable rocket launcher?
Listen to me. You talk to me about my unloadable, reloadable rocket launcher, and your ass is grass, boy.
You're going
Pat, can we
back to the
just-
state of North Carolina.
Pat Hingle.
Yeah.
I like Pat Hingle. Bubba was the worst.
What was his actual name?
Pat Hingle.
No.
Hendershot.
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 Yeah, his character's name is Hendershot. But yeah, he just always says, hey,
Yeah, he wasn't likable.
No.
Not by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah.
All right.
He's a real D-bag.
So the cringiest romance ever continues, and now they're sitting in this room looking out the window, and it's Bill and Brett, and he's like, if I put my arm around you, would you cut me with that razor?
What did she call it? Mother's
Mother's
little
something,
helper.
yeah.
Mother's
Yeah.
helper.
Mother's helper.
Little
Yeah.
mother's helper.
Yeah, and she's like, no, I wouldn't. And then they hug. She's like, everything was fine before the machines went into maximum overdrive.
Dun, dun, dun.
Trope alert.
She said the thing.
said it. She
Said the movie title.
You know, this is. I'll tell you, as I was watching this too, I'm literally on my couch. You know, it's midnight. My wife is sleeping. My kid is sleeping. And I'm sure this was the loudest thing in the house. She said the line. I was like, she said it. And I'm surprised my wife didn't text me like, what are you doing?
Shut up.
Sleeping. Yeah, I was like,
They did the thing.
there it is.
They did the thing.
You don't understand, dear.
You don't understand.
They said the thing. All right. So then Bill and Brett, after I don't know if they've gotten it on yet at this point, but after
No, I
this
was gonna say,
cringy
is
scene,
that,
You know, I
is
guess
that where the
this is where they go downstairs.
where the guy that got blinded by the diesels, he's blasted away by the truck.
Oh,
at
he's
this
already
point,
been
wasn't
killed.
he?
Yeah, we skipped over him.
Totally
Over that.
skipped over him going,
He was
Duncan.
I gotta go find my
Duncan.
son.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like the cryptic, I got to go find my son. And they're like, but Duncan, you can't see. And he's like, I'll find my way. And then
Right.
he just gets hit by Green Goblin.
Again, Emilio tries to tackle him and
Yeah.
get him out of the way.
So now we're on the third Emilio running after someone.
Right. That's just going to be its own trope for this movie. But they go downstairs like, let's check out this arsenal. After the most unnecessary pooping scene maybe in movie history.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know what was odd though?
You know, oh, please tell me what was odd about that.
So the bathroom didn't have one of those convenient holes where you can pass toilet paper through the stall.
What?
You've never been in a truck stop bathroom? There's a nice convenient hole right there between the stalls, and you can pass toilet paper through.
How
All right.
big of the
I'm
toilet
just gonna
paper? It's just like, what's
gloss
the
over that.
circumference? What's the circumference of this
So-
whole Mel?
Here's the thing with why it's unnecessary. This information that he's getting from Joe about whether or not there's really an arsenal downstairs did not have to be delivered during a pooping scene.
No.
But it was specifically chosen to be delivered that way.
Or the impracticality of the layout of the bathroom?
Yeah.
How the urinal was on the wall where essentially the stall door would open
into it?
So, yeah, like,
It was all because it was just set there and it probably wasn't even a bathroom.
right.
That's what I'm
right.
guessing.
Well, maybe the set designer was on coke too.
Like, we're not building a bathroom in this Dixie boy.
No, we're just going to build a thing and
And even the fact that that Stephen King specifically wanted this to be delivered while Joe was pooping.
yeah.
There's lots of toilet scenes in movies where they're having a conversation, but you're not hearing anything. So then he had to make the secondary choice to make sure there's lots of plopping and splooshing going on.
Yeah. Which Joe isn't even reacting to.
No, because
that's-
it's all done in post.
That's the worst part.
Right.
That's the worst part. Like
The bad acting, like he's not acting like he's pooping. That's
Like-
what offended you the most.
yeah, like if it was at least prefaced by like a and like a squint to the eyes or something.
You're right.
Sure,
That's
he's
the
been
biggest
eating that
travesty.
I'm just saying. it
Maybe
is,
because he's
you
been
know,
eating that
that's the
truck
biggest
stop food. I
travesty
don't
in
know.
this
It's
scene.
probably
My
not the best for
suspension
you.
of disbelief only goes so far.
That's right. I didn't
Comet-
believe Joe that he was pooping.
Comet Tails bringing trucks to life,
Sure.
in a homicidal fashion.
Yeah.
That's fine. Joe pooping, didn't buy it.
It kind of ruined the film.
Yeah.
It really did.
Yeah.
Oh, suspension of disbelief
Needless
broken.
to say, this film went to crap.
Immersion broken. Wow.
Thank you. I earned it.
Okay. So they go downstairs. They see the arsenal down there. And Bubba makes sure he comes down to make sure that we all still know he's the worst. he's like, hold on, are you guys doing a scene down here? I got to get down here and make sure you all know I'm terrible. And basically is still threatening him with jail, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah.
You're going back to jail
some way.
after the world ends.
And I'm like,
It would
do you think
technically be
anybody
prison.
cares right now about prison or anything?
Yeah.
And so Bubba's like, well, when this is all over, your ass is grass. And I'm like, dude, you're not surviving the next scene.
Right.
Okay. There's no way you're making it out to the end.
Yeah. Even
No
with that
way.
attitude. I mean,
No.
come on.
So they get their guns upstairs or whatever. And this is now when the little league kid, Deke, shows up. But there's a gate, so he's on the other side of the road and he's trying to crawl through a pipe, but there's like a grate on the end of the pipe, and so he can't get through. He's like, oh, drat, and he can't get through it. And then it cuts to Bill and Brett making out in bed, or post coitus. I don't know.
It cuts,
Mattress in the back of a
Mattress
truck
in the back of a
well,
truck
you
stop.
do see that, she's like kind of stroking his calf with her foot.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that's already happened. But the point
Yeah.
is,
Well, aren't they in the armory room though?
This was upstairs in
Was
apparently,
it upstairs?
maybe where Will lives.
maybe he lives there. I don't know.
I don't know.
But the funny thing is while they're in the middle of making out and kissing, Brett figures out the entire plot of the movie.
Is it?
I think we're just in the tail of this comet, and that's why the machines are doing this.
yeah.
And then after it's gone in 7 days, I think we'll be fine again. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
she's just brilliantly put this all together
Yep.
It's plausible.
while making out with Emilio Estevez.
Wow.
Well, it is Emilio.
I'm like, oh, she's just figured out the entire plot sitting here in a bed in a truck stop.
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
Yeah. If it were Charlie, she would have just ended up with herpes.
This is, what's funny about Charlie? Okay, the fact that Charlie and Emilio Estevez both made terrible car movies in 1986, because we just talked about The Raid.
Oh, wow.
And this is the same year that he did Maximum Overdrive.
It's like Martin dared them.
Well, I was gonna say, Daddy couldn't get him any better gigs.
That's why I'm saying at Thanksgiving they're sitting on the table and Martin's like, guys, we got to talk about what the hell's going on out here.
What's going
Was it that, or was he, hey guys, I got some great opportunities for you.
One or the other.
Don't blow these.
Look,
One or the
back
other.
to the Bruce Springsteen thing. That's how Emilio Estevez got the job, because Dino De Laurentiis was friends with Martin Sheen, and this also caused the first rift of Stephen King and Dino De Laurentiis, because Stephen really wanted Bruce Springsteen, and Dino was like, "Well, I already hired this kid, Emilio Estevez. He's Martin Sheen's kid," and that was like
Martin Sheen kid. And then you guys, you were here last episode. This is the kind of bull crap I was talking about. It's the nepotism in the business. Here's yet another movie starring another guy that has a job in Hollywood because of who his dad is.
Yeah,
It just drives me crazy.
yeah, and yet we're sitting here,
Right.
No
Well, me and
connections.
everybody else,
Yeah.
that are like just as talented as Emilio Estevez is, but won't get their foot in the door because their dad is in Martin Sheen.
right? Or the Barrymores,
And that's not me. I'm not trying to be an actor. I know a lot of actors,
right?
and I know a lot of really talented ones that can't get a sniff because of this bull crap.
Yeah.
And anyway, I'm not going to go off on another. I want listen to the last episode. And at the end of it, I just go crazy.
If we ever tackle the movie 47 Meters Down 2,
Yeah.
then
Then we'll talk about that.
well, okay, it has Jamie Foxx's daughter, Sylvester Stallone's daughter, and someone else's daughter.
Sounds like a bunch of talent.
yeah, real talented. They were born out of the right between
Yeah.
the two legs of the right person.
Yep.
All right. Anyway, sorry. This just triggers me every time.
Yeah.
All right. So anyway,
Nepotism. Nepotism.
this is the first time we get Wanda June just gets pissed off and starts going outside. We made you.
Yeah, her first mental breakdown. Like, I've had enough.
And everybody tries to tackle her and pull her in. Wanda June. No. Wanda June. No. But we made them. We made you.
Yep.
And this is when they kill the lights.
She had a lot of rage against the machine.
Oh.
That was good.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah, so they kill the lights like, oh, you don't like us now, you don't get electricity. And what another funny thing is that happens right after they kill the lights, then we see the Little League kid crawling in past the. I'm like, oh, now he can get in past the grate.
Well, there's another one.
That's
Apparently.
a different grade.
Was it a different one?
There's another
Yeah.
one.
Okay, so now we see the kid go find another tube and start to crawl through. So you're like, all right, Deke's going to make his way in. But at the same time, the Bible salesman is apparently still alive because they can hear him groaning inside the truck stop. They're like, help me. Yeah, exactly.
Get out here.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, it's the guy. He's still out in the ditch.
I'll give you 2 for 1 Bibles.
So do they run out there and get him? No, they're like, out there in that other building, there's a shower. And then the shower drain goes right to where this guy is hiding.
Yeah.
So this is how we're going to rescue him.
Yeah.
With a huge manhole cover size shower drain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, isn't it great that the cook understands the inner workings of the drainage system and how to get
Oh, sure.
everywhere?
He was in
Yeah,
prison.
yeah.
I'm sure he mapped out how he's going to break out.
Right? Shawshank.
Did he? Are we finding out that he would go hang out in there and look up through the grate?
I'm thinking that's what
In the
we're
truck stop
finding out
showers?
is that he used to hang out under the truck stop showers
In the gray water?
in the gray water.
Oh.
In the diesel.
It's his most convoluted plan of all time.
Yeah.
And so him and Curtis,
So Deke Deke has found the Bible salesman.
well, he's about to get through the tube and find the Bible salesman.
Yeah.
Because he's coming from the other direction, this Little League kid. At the same time, Curtis and Bill are going through the gray water and the pea water and all that and
Yeah.
having a laugh, swallowing some of it. And
Having a laugh,
that taste?
playing in poo water.
playing in poo water. They come through this, but yeah, Deke gets to the Bible salesman first, who continues to be even more awful than he was before.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Help me or I will kill you.
Yep. Yeah, that's a good argument. Fair point. Fair point. Where'd you think this was going to get you?
But by the time Bill and Curtis get there, the Bible salesman has just dropped dead.
Yeah, he's
Does
dead.
he?
Yeah,
They're like, oh, he's dead.
Does he get run over by the truck that then?
That's after the fact, though.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm
assuming he does.
But he
Yeah.
was like, I don't know if he was like died
Yeah.
gripping
on to the
Deke's
kid?
ankle or what. But yeah, he was dead by the time they got there.
I like how Deke finds him, and then like the light just washes over him quick enough to where you see that his eyes are open as
Right.
if he is
Yeah.
dead.
right.
And Deke's like, "Hey, Mister! Hey, Mister!
hey, mister.
Yeah." And it's like, dude looks legit dead. And then as Deke's moving away, he does the sit up, the classic.
The Undertaker.
Sit up. Yep.
I'm alive.
Yep. Help me or I will kill you. Okay.
So the whole thing turns out to be them really rescuing Deke and not the Bible salesman because they get there.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
get the kid, and this truck realizes that they're in the ditch and starts to drive through the ditch and ultimately almost kills them. They are able to duck back into the sewer drain
Yeah.
and get back to the truck stop before they're killed.
For what it's worth, I thought this is where I kind of like Curtis's character because I thought he actually played the dialogue off well. Not that it's a good scene,
No.
but the actor himself, as they're like making their way through this tunnel, this drainage tunnel that was framed out of 2x.
Yeah.
As you do.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
sure. It's
Right?
like this water compartment framed out of 2x4.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do all my sewer and drainage work out of wood.
Right. I at least thought that the actor who played Curtis, like he was
Yeah.
playing off the banter pretty well.
No, he's not a bad actor.
Yeah.
he suddenly gained a personality.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, well, that's why I said
Yeah.
earlier. I was like, because that's one of the scenes I thought the same thing is like, and they're kind of joking and
Yeah.
having a good time going
Right.
through the poop water here. And I'm like, why didn't you carry that kind of all the way through the movie?
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
It's just one scene where it's like, oh, okay.
It's pretty humorless, the whole movie is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, there's unintentional humor abounding.
Oh, yeah.
Is it
not-
unintentional?
You think so?
Well, I mean,
You think Stephen King was lucid enough to do that purposely?
the black humor?
Maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. That was also a thing he had wanted to, since all of his books were so serious, he wanted
Yeah.
to take this opportunity to come out of his shell.
Wow, that was hilarious. Well, mission accomplished, Stephen.
I know.
Mission accomplished,
Let's
buddy.
run a 12-year-old over with a steamroller.
That was hilarious. As they're running back in, though, this is one of my favorite parts is when Emilio Estevez would hip fire the rocket launcher.
Yeah.
They were all hip firing.
When he was just like, he runs out, turns around. The thing is like at a 45-degree angle upwards.
Say hello to my little friend.
That's right.
basically.
Fires this rocket launcher and takes out yet another truck.
Yep. So they're reloading and hip firing a shoulder-fired single-use rocket launcher.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the machines are like, all right, enough of this bull hockey. We're sending in the machine gun golf cart.
Yeah,
Enough of this malarkey.
they call in the bulldozer and the
bulldozer.
the golf cart with the 50 cal on it.
Is that now they paint it to look like it's a military vehicle of some
It is.
kind?
It is a military
Is that a
vehicle.
real military vehicle? This 6-wheel golf cart with a mounted machine gun?
Yes.
Hold on, I'm asking Mel, who spent time in the
I have
military.
no idea where you would have an M60 mounted to like
a golf cart.
A golf cart.
Thank you.
Yeah, it is.
All right.
It is. It's
All
a.
right.
It's kind of a World War II Korean War era.
I mean, you can mount it to a Jeep, but
That's what I thought. Is they just took the Jeep body off
Yeah.
it, and it was.
I'm going to defer to Mel on this one since he was a previously enlisted man.
I've never seen anything like it. But
well, I mean, it
although
was
I do like the 100
before your
round
time.
100 rounds of 7.62 on there that it goes through like 3 or 4 times.
Right there. Yeah, right in a little box taped onto the
We would rip through that in about 5 seconds, wouldn't it?
No, it's about a minute.
Minute. Okay.
It's an M274 half-ton 4x4 utility platform truck.
What is?
Boom.
That is.
there you go.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
It looks different.
Nope. That's what it is.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Yeah, I didn't.
So wait, hold on a second.
Yeah.
This thing is
A real military
a
vehicle.
brilliant military vehicle. What is lacking in this picture is a mounted 50 cal.
it wasn't a
in the
50
middle,
Right, and where's
or
the-
whatever it was.
It
What
was,
is
it was M60.
okay,
Yes,
a mounted
it was an
M60.
with
And there
with
was
a,
no seat.
with a box of ammo just taped up to the.
Well, that you actually have those. You have
And there's
those
no
mounted.
seat on the thing either.
But it's a direct frame of what's in the actual movie.
But that's got a seat on it, and there's no mounted.
The
There's no mounted
M274, the M274 mule were often outfitted with a wide array of weaponry.
My
commonly
favorite-
outfitted by the M6762 NATO light machine
My
gun.
favorite thing about Ryan is his need to be right.
It's right there.
See, I think
This was not something that needed a 10-minute portion of this episode just to prove yourself right.
I thought it looked like a carrier.
I still don't believe it. Okay.
It's right there.
I thought it looked like a carrier deck moving
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
But
I think you found something that looks like the thing. I don't think that's what that thing was.
Do you want to know how I got to that link?
How'd you get to that link?
By searching maximum overdrive on Wikipedia
Yeah.
and clicking on the link that says then the bulldozer and the M274 mule show
there you
up.
go.
Nice.
Yeah.
I still don't believe it. Because Wikipedia can be done by anybody.
That's exactly the thing in the movie, though.
Yeah, but it's not because that had a seat on it and no mounted weapon.
But you can mount a weapon on it. It says it in the history
It
of the
looked
vehicle.
ridiculous.
It did look stupid.
So you
Well, okay, hold on.
It was like a pole.
you got
all
a choice. You can
things-
put a seat on it, or you can put the gun on it. You can't have both.
You can't
on
have
it.
both.
Of all things, are we going to talk about the fact that a gun can't squeeze its own trigger? And I don't care if the truck is possessed. It's not going to squeeze the trigger.
This is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
So that's okay, but a door can't open on its own, and
Yeah.
you know,
Mirrors adjust on their own.
and the boats that are in the harbor.
Yeah.
I know we haven't gotten there yet, but none of the boats will activate themselves.
Well, you know, they are just sailboats,
Well,
according
but,
to Emilio.
but also here's the thing. Let's talk about the plot with only the things that they want to come alive, is that none of their cars ever come alive. They're driving cars throughout the whole thing. Their
Just
cars parked around there all the time.
Yeah.
None of the cars ever do anything.
Yeah. Loman's car never comes alive.
That's right.
Connie and Curtis's car never comes. Despite being chased by cars that are autonomous, their own car never comes alive.
All right.
maybe this was a hit piece against the trucking industry.
maybe maybe that's what it was.
Oh, an inside job.
Yeah.
just bad things for trucks.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. So this golf cart that's not a military vehicle pulls up with a gun on it.
It was produced
And-
between 1950 and 1974. That's 24 years of history of the mule.
But that's not what that was. I guarantee you they got that at a bait and tackle shop. There was some guy with a golf cart behind the shed. They said, can we take the frame off of this thing and paint it green, and we'll put a machine gun on a pole. And just because it looks like something the military could have used, I don't think that's what it actually was.
I disagree.
Okay, fine.
I'm starting to disagree.
Moving on.
That's fine.
So
we can move on.
the autonomous military vehicle
Golf cart.
starts using Morse code.
Well, but before that,
Shoots the place
it
up.
shoots the place
Shoots the
up.
place
and
up.
Bubba and morons who don't know how to duck are all shot and killed.
Yeah.
Right? There's a few people that literally just like,
Wanda
other people are ducking. Dudes are just standing there like,
Yeah,
what?
Wanda June.
Yeah.
We made you.
Right.
Done.
As she walks
Had
out
enough.
with
Yeah,
once again
make
a
this.
rocket launcher. Walks out with a
Bubba
rocket
goes out
launcher.
with the one. Yeah, gone.
What's Wanda June knows how to fire this law now too?
She fires it kind of as she's dying, though.
That's right.
You know,
And
it's
into
like she's
another
like,
truck.
oh, and like it just goes off to the side and perfectly hits a toilet
It goes
paper
off to the
truck
side.
or
It's also
something.
pointed like straight up in the air
Yeah.
when she fires it, and then it horizontally.
Oh no, it hits
hits
the
truck.
Miller truck.
And it's a
That's what I'm
beer
saying.
truck.
It hits the beer
it's a
truck. Yeah.
Yeah, that angle checks out.
Yep.
Uh,
Well, I mean, you know, the cinematographer only had
And
one
then
eye
again,
at the time.
Like
so.
you said, everybody's standing there just getting blasted, and they're like,
That's right.
Yeah. If there was another thing that really disappointed me, it's the fact
Yes.
that we see all these extras like getting like you see the squibs, you know,
Yes.
they're getting torn to shreds by the M60.
Yes.
But Pat Hingle,
No,
you don't,
they do the
there's-
cutaway.
Yeah, they do a cutaway.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, the one guy that I really wanted to see just get torn to shreds.
No,
You don't even give me that.
they cut away, and there's clearly just been blood sprinkled on his
Yeah,
shirt.
right.
When everyone else has like holes blown in them.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It was
Pat,
like a,
Pat was like, "Yeah, I'm not doing that."
who knows?
All right, so the golf cart starts to honk Morse code, as
Yeah,
you said.
yeah.
We want gas, basically. The kid who was a Cub Scout or something or whatever.
Sure. Just received his merit badge in
received his
Morse
merit
code.
badge, that's what it was.
well, you have to go back. How did the bulldozer and our golf cart friend here know where to show up?
There,
Like,
it's
who
a hive
said-
mind or something. I guess
It
I
has
don't know.
to be. They
You didn't
said-
see the sign? It said gas 2 miles this way?
Yeah.
Well, I saw that sign, but
Right.
They can read. They can read.
read.
Achilles
Yeah.
from
Achilles
Robot
cannot
Jox
read.
Yeah.
can't read.
Yet, hey, it's not on here.
I mean, I saw the sign and it opened up my eyes.
Oh, yes.
Okay. All right, so they basically in Morse code say, we want gas. Somebody's got to come out here and pump out gas to us or we're going to kill everybody. And
Yeah.
Emilio Estevez's reasoning is, hey, man, they could totally kill us if they want to. Let's give them the gas. I'm like, yeah, that's solid logic.
Yeah, it's-
Yeah, yeah. Which apparently is such a daunting thing to you know, pump gas into a truck in the summer in North Carolina.
They're like withering away, and their like hands are covered with open
He's
sores.
got like the sores and the blisters, and the dude with the cowboy hat comes like saunters over and is like, "Hey, I'll take over."
Like, dude,
And he's like,
they literally
can
stay
just-
latched themselves.
right.
Right, that, and it's like, okay, kill us. You ain't going anywhere then.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Let's play this game of chicken.
Thank you. That's the more sound
Who's
logic.
got more leverage here?
Right.
You know?
Right.
And then they run out of the fuel, and then the other tank, you know, Emilio's all like, "What are you doing?" And he's like chest bumping
tank
the
truck comes
He's like
up.
chest bumping the tanker truck, and then he
So-
also
and then he's all like,
So the truck, the tanker truck makes him fill their gas tanks with gas from his truck. So the aliens, I'm assuming at this point it was aliens in control of these trucks.
that's part of the twist.
Yeah.
Aliens.
Is that it also knows that it's full of gas and that he should go pump it and where to put the gas.
Yeah, he knows exactly how to hook up that
Yep.
dispensary tube and all that other stuff.
All that stuff.
Well, and all of this, so
That's a
it
trope.
can
That's definitely a trope. People operating machinery they know nothing about.
the trucks can automatically, like, you know, all this stuff is operating. You got valves being opened, sprinklers being opened. It can open its own valve to start feeding the gas, but it can't flop its hose out.
Right.
Sure.
That's
Yeah.
where they draw the line.
They can just right.
Well, it's because it's whatever the plot needs, and they arbitrarily draw the line in places. They can do this, they can't do that.
The gas can't pump itself.
The gas can't pump
Gas
itself.
can't pump itself.
Right. And so,
well, you know, if that truck was like like the robot from Robot Jox, it'll flip its hose out on its own automatically. Just bloop. right there.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
So, good old Billy Estevez hatches this brilliant plan, this brilliant, foolproof plan. He's like, all right, man, come over here. He doesn't tell anybody about the plan in advance. He waits literally until he's about to do it. And there's a guy pumping gas. This is a guy we've never seen the entire movie.
Just showed up.
Hey, sir, please come over here. Now, Mr. Extra, whoever you are, when I do this, run. Like maybe tell him, have a huddle, something beforehand. No, his plan is to grab this M60 and spin it around.
Just misdirect it by spinning it.
Spinning it.
Why not just aim it that way? Squeeze the trigger, blow the bullets out of it, and guess what? Now it's a stick.
Now it's a
I was
stick.
gonna stay. Yeah. Just hop up on the platform and finish off the magazine.
What's funny is after he spins it, it spins around back right to the direction that they were facing.
Yeah.
And then he drops a grenade in the thing.
Yep.
And then they run away.
Yep.
That's his brilliant plan.
Yep. Where did he get the grenade?
I don't know why this guy's not a Mensa scientist instead of being a cook at this truck stop.
Well, Bubba kept calling him a college guy.
I know. He's
right.
like, college
college
boy. Yeah. 9 hours for 8. You could do math.
Well, and then so now the trucks are pissed, and this is now they do the thing that I'm like, why didn't they do this the entire movie?
Exactly. I was like, is there like some sort of force field around this building where
Yes.
they can't just go crashing through it?
Yeah.
Which is what they now do after he blows up
They
the
get
golf
past-
cart.
Yeah. Like
Just driving
done.
through. I thought when the bulldozer showed up,
That's what I thought.
that's what was going to
Yeah.
happen. Like, oh, they're like,
we
Here we
had
go.
enough of them.
right.
Yeah.
Bring in the bulldozer.
And all they do is push a
right.
car through.
Yeah. So the bulldozer had pushed Bubba's car through
Right.
the
But now they're full on driving their semis into the truck stop and use it. I thought it was cool when the dump truck just had its thing up high enough to knock down the canopy for the gas station. Do you remember that part?
Yep.
Isn't that the nighttime scene?
Yeah, well, this is when they're
it's
destroying
all
the place.
Well, but there's that little exposition that we just glossed over.
What's the exposition? And this better be really good.
Yeah. It's essentially
Grind this to a halt to talk about
look,
it.
because this is where the plot comes full fruition. You know, one dude puts his arm around him and brings him back inside, and Emilio Estevez is like, it's a broom. It's like a broom.
Gosh.
And then he's laying on the bed, and Brett's all like dabbing him with the
How we not talk about the it's a broom scene?
yes, and
It's
she's
a broom.
dabbing him with the rag.
Because otherwise the complexities of the truck revolt will not be understood.
Right. So it's the broom. And if you were an alien race looking to populate a new planet,
Right.
how would you do it? Maybe we would just use our own things against us. And he's like, yeah.
Yeah.
So essentially the plot becomes that the comet was concealing an alien race, and now this alien race has hijacked modern technology
Right.
to eliminate the humans so that the alien race can then just move to Earth.
Right.
Yes.
And so this dump truck has its thing really high up in the air, and it's just driving into the canopy of this
Takes it
gas
right out.
station and just knocking everything down.
That was cool.
These aliens are sweeping everything away
Yep.
because they're the brooms.
The brooms.
Right.
They're the brooms.
What do you call them? An intergalactic
He said
cleaning-
interstellar cleaning
Yeah. Cleaning squad or
it's an
something.
the interstellar cleaning.
the maids.
Space janitors.
Yeah. Or do you do this or do you send in the interstellar janitors is what he said or something like that.
But the question remains, why not drive in there and kill everybody in the first place?
Well, then because no movie.
Why write this in the first place?
But
All the valid questions.
but
You
hold
don't
on.
get trucks circling a truck stop
But
until
wait.
they're out of gas if they just charge right in.
or like, half an hour ago when it's like, well, they have all these extra rockets. Why?
That's what I'm saying. So, but the trucks wait, even though they're mad about the grenade thing, they still wait long enough for everyone to get out of the building.
Yeah.
And then they start driving. So at this point, they've all crawled through the pipe. And now they're all watching the trucks destroy the gas station.
Yes, they went through the hole in the bathroom.
They went through the hole in the bathroom.
And
And,
drop me down there, Curtis.
and so they're like, we're going to the marina because they dropped this expo earlier because I know how to sail a boat.
right.
But in this movie, I'm like, the ropes might come alive and choke you to death.
Dude, that's. I mean, his logic was sound. Like,
yeah.
a sailboat has no mechanical parts or whatever.
But we saw
That means
cords
nothing.
wrapping.
That's what I'm saying. So they're running to the marina, and the first place they stop and hide is this drive-through, apparently, because the thing starts going, humans are here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Humans are here.
Yeah.
And Deke's got like an Uzi. He's like,
Yeah.
this is for my dad. Like, that's really going to hurt the aliens. You're going to shoot their
Right.
speaker box on a
he shoots it
Big
big
Burger.
Well, you know,
That was because his dad had diabetes.
Is that what it was? This is for my dad.
Yep.
He was going to die anyway. Sorry,
I say it's like the robots and robot jocks. Just say,
yeah. Totally.
they feel it.
They feel it.
He shoots it. They feel it in the
They feel
spaceship. Yeah.
Then
Emilio says Jesus is coming and he's pissed.
that's right. And then as they're trying to cross over the street, here comes this ice cream truck, which we glimpsed earlier randomly. Nothing happened to it, but it was driving around the neighborhood when Deke was driving around the neighborhood.
Ah, yeah. It was the ominous ice cream truck.
Ominous ice, playing King of the Road.
King of the road. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now it's driving towards them. And this is Curtis's, I don't know, they wanted him to have a big moment, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Curtis jumps out in the street. And now he's the badass with an Uzi, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, I got this. And he starts shooting his Uzi and nothing happens. And then they shoot it a little more. Gagoosh.
Right. Because then Brett joins him.
That's right. Brett starts
So
shooting.
Brett
too.
jumps in, and now you got Brett and Curtis shooting him with, submachine guns. Right.
So did the bomb pops go off?
The bomb pops went off.
pops went off.
You see, if you'd seen Last Action Hero, you would know that all it takes is a guy flying through the windshield of an ice cream truck to make it explode.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, they're very volatile machines.
It's a lot of hazardous,
Lots of
flammable
hazardous.
material on that ice cream truck.
This was the second life and limb incident for the movie.
Yeah.
In which a cameraman, the ice cream truck flipping didn't go according to plan.
Oh,
And a cameraman was not aware of an ice cream.
yeah, that checks out.
Yeah. But then one of the dolly grip guys, one of the other grip, had grabbed him, and like it was like a real Emilio moment.
He Emilio Estevez him.
Emilio Estevez him out of the
No,
way.
let me grab you, get you out of the way.
Well, he told him what was going to happen. It was just in Italian.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So
so
dolly
the ice
grip
cream
saved
truck-
the cameraman.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is actually our third exploding ice cream truck because in Armed and Dangerous,
Oh, man.
there was an exploding ice cream truck too.
Yep.
Randomly for no reason.
Wow,
They're
yeah.
just like the bad guys had an ice cream truck. So we've had 3 exploding ice cream trucks. It's starting to become a
very
thing.
volatile.
Yeah.
Very volatile.
It's a thing.
All right, so they get to the marina and they're almost to the boat, but old dumbass Brad has to stop for a second.
Look at the size of that rock.
Brad, who we've never heard his name mentioned once in the
No.
movie. He's been around. We recognize him because he's an actor that's been in some things, right?
Yeah, Leon Rippey.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But they get to the point like, where's Brad? Like, we're supposed to know who that is.
Sure. On top of the fact that he's already, it's like they're like making a great quick getaway, and he's just like, oh, stop, and I'm curious about this dead woman over here.
Right.
Let me go take her diamond ring.
She has the
Because that's going to
gigantic-
be valuable on an uninhabited island.
Right. Yes. Because they're going to
Thank you.
Haven. They're going to an island called Haven.
It's like Mackinac Island in
Sure.
Michigan, right?
Yeah,
It's
which
like
there's
bicycles
no-
only.
Right.
Yep.
I wanted
Yep.
the post scene though, where there's just bicycles riding around trying to kill them on this
Right.
island.
Dude, that would have been hilarious.
Is he going to sell it to one of the other 4 survivors?
That's what I'm saying. I don't know.
And now-
stops and then
So but Green Goblin truck gets somehow down to the dock. The semi expertly
shows-
maneuvers itself onto a
shows
dock.
up.
Yep.
Full
And then
engine
stealth-
brake, and Brad doesn't even hear him.
And then stealth kills him as we see. I told you they were gonna get that stealth kill in there.
But even then, there's always that shot where he turns around and he's at least got enough time for when the camera is zooming in to just stand there and go, ah. And I'm like, how about you do your ahs while you're diving out of the way?
Yeah.
They just turn around and
Just
go,
turns
"Ah,"
around.
hands in the air.
because you didn't hear it come up going.
Exactly. They all.
Yeah. So we needed the one last kill of the
Right.
people. So Emilio.
How do they take out this truck?
Oh, the
Rocket.
Wait.
Oh,
Reloadable rocket launcher.
the same way they've taken out
Let's-
every truck in the movie.
Yeah, reload the unreloadable rocket launcher.
That's always great for the finale to just kill the truck the same way you've killed every other truck in the entire movie.
right.
That's great.
And then everyone cheers, and it was like, yeah, we did it.
We did it. And they get on this boat
There's no more trucks.
and they sail away.
They don't just get on the boat, though.
No.
They don't know how to untie
Untie a
the
knot.
boat. So they get out the straight razor
Oh,
to cut
yeah.
this
Yes.
inch-thick
Yep.
rope.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
This is true.
That had to be more than an inch thick.
This is true.
It was at least an inch thick.
That was at least an inch. But I don't know. I mean,
And for a boat that size, you don't
What's
need a
the-
dock line that size. It's like a rope you'd tie off a tanker with. Tying this little sailboat off. And they're cutting it with that straight. They would have been there days trying to cut through.
the
Oh, he's like,
And they had a scout there, too. You're telling me the scout couldn't
Oh,
untie a
that's
knot?
right.
Emilio
exactly.
Estevez is just trying to look tough while he's cutting this rope with this thing. Like, that's not how you do it. Like, shh, just get the angles.
yeah, basically.
Just get the angles.
Yep.
All right. So, anyway, that's the end of the movie. And they do the thing. It's like bad enough they had the the prologue, and at the end, they do another text screen.
Yeah.
And it's this like super confusing thing about a Russian weather satellite that was armed with nuclear weapons.
Right. It puts the weather in quotes.
The weather.
Satellite.
the
Yeah.
Russian weather satellite.
Which
Took
took
out
out a
the aliens.
UFO.
Yep.
But then apparently that didn't do anything because it still took 7 days to come out of the tail of the comet.
Hiding of the comet, yeah.
And then everything went back to normal. I'm like, none of that made sense. You literally, with your text, it meant to wrap everything up with a bow, actually made it more confusing as to what was happening.
I wasn't confused.
I was. Maybe
Really?
I'm an idiot. Is that what you're trying to say?
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it wasn't confusing.
It was confusing.
Well, I mean, the movie was made for morons.
Well,
Right.
that's probably why.
By morons
Yeah,
for
yeah.
morons.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he put this thing in there about the weather thing and the fact that this UFO was blown up, but then also trailed after that with this
Something about the
something about
comet.
coming out of the comet tail.
Yeah.
Like, so either this was stopped when the UFO was blown up, then we don't need to think about the comet tail.
But the comet tail was just the cloak for the UFO.
Well, they didn't explain that really well.
Well, you didn't see the glaring like indication that they were planning a sequel.
No.
The neck, yeah. That
Maybe the
Maximum
bicycles on the
Overdrive
island.
2.
yeah.
Bicycles on the island.
Well, that's the movie anyway. So let's do what we're going to do and give this thing some awards and get out of Dodge. Okay, today helping us is one of our Patreon members who submitted his awards and actually is himself a truck driver. And so this
right.
was the perfect guy, Big Trucker Mike, to come in with his awards. And so we always start with the Will Patton Award for intensity.
Mike,
And-
we're very sorry. This should have been Convoy or Smokey and the Bandit or something else.
Yeah.
We gave him Maximum Overdrive.
Yeah.
And so Mike and I actually both picked Wanda June for our Will Patton Award.
Huh.
Ellen McElduff.
Huh.
Great name, by the way.
Huh.
And this was a movie that I almost abstained for the first time ever from giving a Will Patton Award. Now,
Yep.
Mike called it the overacting award, which I don't appreciate, Mike. I don't know how many times we've said this is an award for intensity, not overacting. But yeah, I just, for her speech, for her "We Made You" thing, this is why I ended up giving it to Wanda June. But yeah, not really a lot of choices for intensity in this movie.
No.
What do you guys think?
I wish Will Patton had just been in the movie.
Get off the nuclear weapon. Sorry.
That was William Fichtner.
Yes, no, I know that.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
All right,
Will Patton was, what are you doing with a gun in space?
that's him.
Yeah.
Yep.
You gonna give me an answer? Or are you just gonna keep correcting me all the times I'm wrong, Ryan?
I didn't know it was diverted to me. I thought there was a
You
circle.
started
here.
talking.
I started talking directly to you.
We're going around in a circle, just like the trucks.
Yeah, just
I was
like
going
the
to
trucks.
say, circle back.
All right, he says nobody.
All right, nobody. You know, I went with Hendershot just because.
Pat Hingle.
Yeah, Pat Hingle, Commissioner Gordon. He played the. He was definitely unlikable.
Yeah.
He was, I thought, decently intense in that. He kind of
Yeah.
didn't lose his
Yeah.
accent. within the first 5 minutes of the movie.
Right.
Definitely stuck with it. Yeah.
Was definitely a unlikable character throughout. So I went with him.
All right. Who you got, Mel?
I've got Stephen King. Because Stephen King said exactly what we're all thinking. And I know this is going to get bleeped anyway, so I'll try and time it out right. But, honey, this machine just called me an asshole.
Yeah.
Just like the watching public.
Nice. Did you have somebody yet?
You know what? Juan Carlo.
Oh, Juan Carlo Esposito?
Juan
There
Carlo
you go.
Esposito.
Why
Okay.
not?
Why
All
not?
right. Well, that means that
He was the best performance in the movie.
Wanda June, or a.k.a. Ellen McElduff, will win the Will Patton Award with 2 votes.
Good
today.
for her.
Good for
her.
Wanda June and her miraculously healing wrist.
Yeah.
Now we have the Michael Dudikoff Trash Can Full of Dirt Award, which, my goodness, I won't argue anybody's choice in this movie. You could literally pick anybody.
I've got mine.
Who was the
in my
worst
sights.
actor in this movie?
Stephen King. So not just for the acting, but for the writing and directing as well.
That's fair. I will not argue
A
with that.
giant trash can full of dirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Apt.
Yeah.
I went with Laura Harrington.
Oh,
Just- Brett just totally
Yeah.
did not even need to be in the movie.
When she was trying to act like she was tired,
yeah.
Yeah.
that was
That's
Yeah.
terrible.
laughably bad.
Yeah.
Laughably
It's hot
bad.
out here.
I hope he chokes on it.
Yeah.
Acting.
Acting 101.
All right, who you got, Ryan?
There was a trash can full of dirt in the movie.
There was.
There was
You noticed.
a giant trailer full
Yep.
of trash cans
That's
full of
right.
dirt.
That's true.
Yeah, Zeke's tractor trailer garbage haul off or
Not to be
whatever.
confused with Deke.
Not
Who,
Deke.
No.
Or
Who you giving it to?
Emilio.
Emilio Estevez.
Emilio.
Good yeah,
call.
I can't
You can't
argue with that
argue.
either.
Gosh.
Good call.
From
he's-
from
oh, go ahead.
line one.
Yeah.
Just like I got eggs on.
He started off in Dudikoff territory. That
Yeah.
was-
Oh, yeah.
And I thought
Yeah.
he pulled himself at least out of the toilet where Dudikoff lived in the first American Ninja movie.
But then
it
ended up-
still wasn't good.
But then ended up back in the sewer.
This could have been, you know what? Dudikoff would have made this movie better.
Dudikoff would have made it better.
Gosh, I don't know about that.
Dude,
No.
they should have. Yep.
No, but if Arnold had been in this movie, it would be better than it is.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
It would be better
I
than
think
it
for the
is.
first time it wouldn't.
only.
How would it have not made it better?
So, do you want to know another little trivia blip? Gary Busey expressed interest in playing Bill Robinson.
Okay.
That would have been
That would have
awesome.
been better.
You
No,
can't
but,
tell me that wouldn't have been better.
that
It
would've
would have
been
been
awesome.
great, but you guys are still trying to avoid the question. The burden of proof is on you.
Okay, so
How would
I'm
Arnold
not arguing. Arnold's
how would
gonna be
Arnold
better.
not make it better? He could be anybody, and it's a better movie.
Yeah. He could have been Brett, and it would have been a
He
better
could have
movie.
been Bubba.
It's
I don't know.
100%.
You know
Curtis,
what? I'll tell you.
Bill, any of them.
If Arnold was Bill, that would have been a perfect.
You could have put
Thank you.
Arnold's
That would have been
face
a
on
perfect
the
80s role for
Green
him.
Goblin truck, and it would have been better.
Yeah.
I'm coming.
Beep, beep.
beep, beep.
I'll tell you. At least if Arnold had
There
played
it is.
Bill and he's sitting there like chest bumping the tanker,
That's right.
you could have had like a
And the truck moves back.
right. And he's
The,
just
the
like,
grill
ooh.
just dents in.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh
Yep.
my gosh, that'd have been so
It
great.
would have been.
What are you doing?
It's funny because I
I've
thought
got
to
the
myself,
eggs. I've got the eggs on.
I got the eggs.
what about Arnold doing the soundtrack instead of AC/DC?
Ooh,
That would have been good too.
Yeah.
Would have been good.
Yeah. See,
All right, sorry. So my Michael Dudikoff. So who'd you vote for again? I'm sorry. You gave it to Stephen King.
Yes.
You gave it
I
to
went Brett.
Brett.
Emilio.
You gave it to Emilio Estevez.
Emilio.
We're gonna have a 5-way tie here because Big Trucker Mike. And this is what happens when there's so many people that can win the award. This is what's happening. He gave it to what he called Fat Boy Joe, aka Pat Miller, pooping Pat.
Pooping.
And I gave it to Yeardley Smith, Connie. I thought she was
Yeah.
terrible in this movie.
Yeah,
But
She was
you're not
bad.
wrong.
You're not wrong.
You're not
She was-
wrong.
She was bad,
Yeah.
but not wooden.
no, but terrible.
Yeah.
I kind of want to change my vote though and give it to Fat Boy Joe though, so Pat Miller will win just for that totally unnecessary scene. And as you yourself said,
Yes.
didn't sell the fact that he was crapping.
No.
I'm
No.
changing my vote to Pat Miller. Pat Miller's
There we
going to
go.
win.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pat Miller wins the Michael Dudikoff trash can full of dirt
Crappy
award.
way to win.
All right, now we give our top 3 performers. These aren't the people that were the best, but the people that you personally enjoyed the most. It's a totally subjective award. Who are your top 3? Anybody that wants to go.
I'll go. I'll start. This looks like some are thinking here still. So at 3, I had Lisa Simpson. She's
Okay.
annoying as hell. Like you couldn't stand her, but for some reason I enjoyed her character.
This
I don't know
doesn't
why.
go 3 deep into good performances, just so you know. This movie doesn't allow that.
No, yeah, I know. You have to. It's like okay. So in some masochistic way, I kind of enjoyed that.
Okay.
I went Hendershot as my 2.
Okay, Hendershot.
I kind of liked him. He was very, like I said, very hateable.
Yep.
Kind of stayed in it. Number 1, I had the trucks.
The trucks.
Absolutely.
The trucks.
Yep.
Or is that you had your number 1 is the trucks too?
I mean, for what it's worth, at least it was fun to see them.
Yeah.
The Green Goblin truck, the old logos, that was
sure.
That was fun. Like the old Bic logo.
Yeah.
That was fun.
That one had me confused. I'm like, is that like a
Truck full of
Right.
pens?
trailer? Like it was like a dump truck kind of with a Bic logo on it.
Yep.
With a canopy. I'm like, is it they just
Hey,
dump pens
yeah.
in the bed
Now,
of this thing or what?
Bic gave him $5,000 to put that in there for the movie. That's
Right.
probably what happened.
Sure.
That was back in their like single razor disposable,
Yeah, oh,
like
yeah.
one shave, get rid
So
of them.
who
days.
are your other 3 besides the or your other 2 besides
So I'll
the truck?
say number 3, Juan Carlo Esposito.
Okay.
Number 2, the trucks.
The trucks.
And I'll say Pat Hingle for number 1
Pat Hingle.
because really, yeah, he's a professional.
Yeah.
You could tell he's a professional. He showed up to play a dirtbag.
Sure, he
and
did it.
He did it.
He did it.
Yeah.
Who you got, Mel?
I went number 3, Frankie Faison for
Okay.
Handy.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I went number 2, the electromechanical knife.
Okay.
Cutting edge performance.
Cutting edge performance.
Oh.
It really was a cut above everybody else.
And then for number 1, the best performance of this whole piece of garbage, Stephen King.
Okay.
Is there a cricket button on there?
There is. Now we got them both playing at the same time, and I'm going to be, okay, I'm going to go crazy. All right, so for me, I had Pat Hingle. I had Bubba basically at number 3. I had Emilio Estevez at 2. Not because I thought he gave a good performance, but because I laughed every time he had to go run and pull somebody out of the way of something.
Yeah.
And that was my favorite bit in the entire movie.
Yeah,
Was
yeah.
Emilio Estevez trying to save people's lives, these morons who just kept wanting to run out of the truck stop and
Right.
into the route of these trucks.
Or his exposition.
And number 1, I had Holter Graham. I had Deke. I really liked Deke, the kid, the Little League kid.
Do you see his IMDb photo now?
Yeah,
He looks like Joe Dirt.
he looks like Joe Dirt.
Yeah.
He does. He does. He
Hey,
actually
nice.
he played a part in
Good for him.
Red Dead Redemption 2.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
Did he?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Skinner.
Skinner.
I couldn't place it either.
He was in the
but yeah.
camp.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Yep.
Really?
So for Mike, for Big Trucker Mike, at number 3, he had Emilio Estevez, and then he had Pat Hingle at number 2. And then this is how you can tell he's a truck driver. He said number 1, the Goblin truck, the black colored white Western Star 4800 is
Yeah. Yeah.
what Mike wrote in here. So
He didn't say what year though, huh?
no, he didn't. But that's
Thought
that
you
was
said he was
his
a
favorite.
trucker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, don't give Mike a hard time.
I'm not giving Mike a hard time. I'm giving Stephen King a hard time.
Well, we're going to give him a harder time now because now we have to answer the question that it all comes down to. Was this legitimately just a bad movie, full stop, no qualifier? Is it a bad movie that rules? Again, doesn't mean it rules in that it's awesome, but that is it bad objectively, but subjectively you liked it? Or is it a straight up good movie? What do you guys think?
I think this is going to come as a surprise after
Yeah.
all of this. This is a bad movie.
Full stop.
Full stop. Horrible piece of garbage.
All right.
Wow.
Not likable.
All right, Mueller, what do you think, buddy?
It is a 100% bad movie. Full stop. End of story.
Okay. I just, we found so many gems over this last year plus that it breaks my heart. I really wanted this to be one of them, right? We found
Winners Take All.
Robot Jocks, Prayer of the Roller Boys.
This made
Right,
Ice
and then-
Pirates look like Schindler's List.
And I wanted this to be the next one. There's no Prayer of the Roller Boys. I'll tell you that right now.
I would rather watch Prayer of the Roller Boys over
All day.
this.
Day of the Rope.
Yeah.
Day of the Rope.
I mean, yeah, it's a terrible movie.
Yeah.
I would watch it again.
All right. So is it to you a bad movie that rules?
Yes.
All right.
I'm ashamed.
Don't be ashamed.
I'm ashamed.
Be proud.
No.
It's got your favorite
I love it.
military vehicle, the M478 golf cart. What's it
1,
called?
2, 3, 4, 8.
1, 2, 3.
M274
Yeah.
Mule.
I should have known you liked this when you
That's
went to
not
the trouble of
That's not my favorite
looking up
military vehicle.
the golf cart
All right.
with a stick on it to tell me that it was actually a military vehicle.
It is.
A golf cart. It's to me, it's a bad movie. Full stop. Full stop. I had fun watching it because it was so terrible, but only because I was like gleefully rubbing my hands together, getting the opportunity to come in here and rip it to shreds, not because
Yeah.
I'd ever watch it again.
I would watch it
Unfortunately.
again. I would remake
Okay.
it.
But we talked about this last week. Why don't they remake bad movies
Yeah.
instead of the ones everybody loves?
Yeah.
Yeah, they remake the good ones into bad ones.
Take
Why-
something like this that didn't
Right.
work.
That's the thing.
Let's go the other way.
Let's remake a great movie into a terrible movie.
Right.
But why not? Right.
Why not say, okay, this didn't work. Let's take another crack at it because there's something here.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
it's happening.
Is it?
I think it's going to happen in 2024.
Okay.
Oh,
It's
boy.
not a remake, but real life.
All right.
It's actually Tesla.
Tesla is going to take over.
Tesla is
Oh, boy.
this is the full movie. It's Tesla.
Well, guys, there's something that's coming up next week. If you tune in to the show on our next release, that has never happened so far on Bad Movies Rule. We're talking about a movie, not just from the 2000s, but from the 2020s.
Oh, yeah.
We're talking about Moonfall,
Right.
this movie that I know nothing about it other than the moon is falling and the Halle Berry is apparently sleepwalking through the entire movie.
Yeah.
And that's all I know about it. Oh, and the guy from The Conjuring is in it.
Yeah, Patrick Wilson.
Patrick Wilson.
Yeah. Patrick Wilson and Halle Berry.
Yeah.
And it's a Roland Emmerich film.
And a Roland. Oh, see,
Yeah.
I like Roland Emmerich,
So do I.
but I've heard nothing but horrible things about this movie.
Roland Emmerich's just kind of fallen off.
Yeah.
I mean, like Independence Day Resurgence.
Sure. That was bad.
It was awful. Literally awful. Mm-hmm.
Do we-
Worst.
Do we know if Halle Berry has any talent in this?
From what I understand, she literally looks like she has paycheck face the entire time. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, but
I'm going to cash a paycheck at the end of this.
Does she show any talent?
I mean, she's shown that she has some talent in some of the movies she's been in, like Monsters Ball was the one she won the Oscar for, right?
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Swordfish.
So Swordfish was okay. I mean, I really like Hugh Jackman, and Travolta was kind of chewing the scenery a little bit in that movie. But
Oh, he's a great villain
in some, yes.
in Swordfish.
Yeah. He's better in Swordfish than he was in Broken Arrow. Broken Arrow,
Yeah.
he was
Yeah.
unhinged.
Yeah. No, he's a much better villain in
Yes.
Swordfish. I think it's one of his better villains.
Well, it's certainly better than The Punisher.
Face
Yeah.
Off.
And
Better than The
not better
Punisher.
than Face Off,
Stuff, yes.
Better than
but better than
taking a Pelham 1-2-3.
Yes, and better than Broken Arrow.
And
For
better
sure.
than Broken Arrow. Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I don't know if Halle Berry gives a good performance in this because again, I have not
All right.
seen any of it.
So really, the only question is she better in that film than Catwoman?
Oh God. I was told we would never speak of that movie again.
I mean, but it's just going to come up.
I don't know where you guys can find it, but go out and find Moonfall and watch it before next week.
Yeah. Why
And it's
not?
going to be a great time.
It's on 4K.
Let's do it. Oh, you're asking if she shows her boobs or not.
No.
Well,